that before my last one. Thank God it's yeah! We made it, people. We did it. We got here. It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Welcome in, my dudes and dudettes, my amigos and amiguettes. Spectacular to have you as we go into our Friday football fiesta. Good to have you. It's not undeserved. It's not undeserved.
I kind of warned you. I kind of did.
So for those of you who did not check out the stream yesterday, I committed this week because the wife's out of town for a week. And your boy is going through in admitted and acknowledged and unashamed what I am labeling like a bit of an identity crisis. I don't think crisis is the right word because I think that word comes with some pretty strong connotations that something is wrong with me. And there's not. Nothing's wrong with me. I think I just got okay. All right. I think I just got bored. And so for like the past couple of weeks, I've just been like trying new stuff. All right. Like nothing dramatic. That's the nice thing about having a relatively privileged life is I don't have to change anything dramatic to feel like I'm trying new stuff. I bought some new, some new clothes that I wouldn't have worn in years gone by just to see how it works. I'm a necklace chain guy now and a big fan of it. In fact, I got another one coming. I got to shorten this one up a little. Got a little long. I cleaned the motorcycle up so that I can start making that like the motorcycle is going to go back to being my primary mode of transportation. And so
you didn't buy one of those half helmet things.
No, full face mask because at the end of the day, while I have an identity crisis, I would like to keep my face and head attached and intact. So I said last week that since the wife was going to be gone for over a week, and since I've dropped quite a number of LBs, I was like, I'm gonna go clean shaven. I haven't seen my chin in 8 years, but the thing was, the reason I kept the beard for that long was so that I didn't have to see my chins up. And so I thought, all right, I've dropped like 60 pounds from the heaviest. Let me see. Right now, at the end of the day, it's a little genetic, but like still, let me see if I can go back to having the clean cut.
I was going to say, I'm not being mean, but it's still.
It's still there. Yeah, it's never going to not be there.
The only way you can find out is by checking. And now
and trust me, it's dramatically less dramatic than it used to be.
That is, you got to go have work done to probably get rid of.
But I wanted to see, is it acceptable?
You're not about to get work done, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. I just can't afford that. So I went to go clean shave on Wednesday after she left. I don't even think I really ever addressed this on the show yesterday. I just kind of let it be. So I shaved.
Well, because I got taken away, or a lot of things would have been addressed yesterday.
That's probably fair. So
they robbed me of that.
The wife left. I went to go clean shaven. And when I got the chin and the cheeks done, I left the stash. And the goal was I was going to take a dumb picture of it and send it to her while she's on her bachelorette party and be like, have a great time. This is what I look like now. And then I was going to shave the mustache off. And by the time that I got done and I got down to just the stash, I looked in the bathroom mirror and I was like, man, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it like I thought I would.
I just want to point out, you're close to Fu Manchu. I mean, you put a little bit more on either side there. You got the Fu Man going.
I rounded it off at the corners.
You're like, that's not the corners. I mean, you need to go a little bit higher than that. I mean, you could be Jack Lambert right now.
So I decided to.
Some of you know who that is.
Linebacker Steelers. We got football knowers on the run.
I know. That's who I wasn't talking about.
So I decided as I was taking a gander in the mirror, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I like it, and I don't know if I hate it, and I'm going to test drive it for a couple of days. I'm on a test drive right now.
So you about to change the logo or not?
I don't know yet because I don't. Wow. I'm not committed to it yet. I'm not committed to it yet. Like I'm on a test drive. I walked around the building yesterday specifically just to get reactions from people in the building. It was about 60-30 and about 10% to different individuals at different times saying some variation of, dude, are you in the Epstein files? Like that's a joke I got.
I shouldn't laugh about that, but yeah.
More often than I'm comfortable with yesterday. Then yesterday afternoon, I went to lunch with a couple of buddies. Split reaction. Then yesterday late afternoon.
You didn't wear like a hat like close over your eyes or anything like that. So
nope. I'm just letting the world see me as I am.
Well, I meant you would look creepy that way.
Then I went and played a round of golf with Joey B. Joey B was like, every 10 minutes, the opinion flipped. It was initially like, it's not bad. And then like 2 holes later, he'd be like, nah, it's kind of bad. And then it was back and forth.
All right, I'm just curious, was there imbibing going on?
Yeah, I was golfing, of course.
No, I meant with him. Did that affect his opinion every 2 holes? No,
not at all. It's just split reaction. So here's what I need. And I'm not even kidding about this. Like this isn't a ploy. I'm being very serious because, there was one more quick story from it. The Wednesday night when I decided, you know what, I'm going to test drive this thing through the weekend and see if I like it. If I don't, once the stubble comes out, I'll cut the stash down to match the stubble. We'll grow the whole thing back up. I FaceTime the wife to show her like, hey, I'm going to keep this for at least a week and see how we like it. She picks up the FaceTime and she opens it and she sees me. And the conversation went like this. Blue-de-doop. That's her answering the phone. Blue-de-doop. Absolutely not.
I was hoping she hung up because that would have been great.
No, she said at first words, absolutely not. And I said, you know what? I thought the same thing, but after 2, 3, 4 minutes, it grew on me. Like, look at me for a minute and see. And she goes, I don't need to. No. And I said, all right, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. However, you're at a bachelorette party. There's like 6 other girls there. I'm going to need you to turn this camera around, show me to them, and let's get the opinion of the room. And of the 6, I got 3. Actually, it kind of works for you. You look younger. And I got 2. Rob, I love you. But no, that's not your vibe. And I got 1. And like that was the only sound I got out of that. It has been legitimately like a 50-50 split as to whether or not I keep the vibe.
The ones who approved it, are they known for sarcasm?
No, not at all. Like,
okay, I'm just curious.
The one thing about my wife is that she is the type of wife that you will never have to. You've worked with her,
right? That's why I'm asking this question. If they knew it would be a dig to her, by approving it,
okay, they are. She is in a group of girlfriends who you will never have to guess where you are with them. Like, you will never have to guess how they feel. They are that group of women that they're going to bleeping let you know how they feel when they feel it. They are not going to lie to appease or to mess with her. In fact, 2 of the first 3 we talked to were 2 of them that were like, Courtney, you need to settle down. Like, it looks pretty good on him. Pretty split reaction. So this is a genuine favor that I need from you. And I need you all to know, my ego can take the hit, okay? My ego can take the hit. I'm good. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I need you to join the live stream. I need you to come to the live stream. I need you to put it on the biggest screen that you have.
Are we roasting? Are we roasting? Is that what we're doing?
No.
Here's
what I need. I need you to go to the live stream, facebook.com/thefanupstate, the Fan Upstate on Twitter or on YouTube, the Rob Brown Show on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, whatever broadcasting outlet you want to go to. I would like you to go to the stream. I would like you to blow the stream up to full screen. And I genuinely need the feedback here because I'm test driving. I'm not committed, but I'm not uncommitted. I haven't decided where I've landed yet. Now, all of this started because it is Friday and Rob Brown broke out, as he is wont to do on Fridays, broke out his Fun Friday shirt. All right. Went with the classic Andy Reid Hawaiian shirt. Went with my classic I'm going drinking rum on the beach after this shirt. And when Zoe walked in today, he stopped, kind of backtracked and looked in the door and was like, with the stash, you look like a crappy Magnum PI. All right. He didn't say crappy Magnum PI, but he meant crappy Magnum PI. And
there's only one Magnum PI. I mean,
I got told yesterday, in the list of you look likes that I got you look like, and I forget the actor's name, but the guy who played Goose's son in the newest Top Gun.
Oh, that guy you don't like.
Yes. Yeah. Which was meant as a compliment to me. Miles Teller.
Yeah, that's
Miles Teller. I got one yesterday. You look like an older Miles Teller, and that was meant as a compliment, but I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't get why that guy's considered attractive, but that's okay.
I don't have these skills, but if I did, I would put a side by side with you and Weird Al in a Hawaiian shirt with his mustache. All you'd be missing is the hair because of the glasses and everything. Listen, in my mind, it looks similar. I'm gonna look it up. It may not look anything like it.
Chris Lewis, and I am naming and shaming on this one, Chris. Chris Lewis just texted and said, are you sure Courtney's on a bachelorette trip and not tied to railroad tracks somewhere?
I
can't twist it, Chris. Yeah. It's not that.
Oh, you could if you tried. You definitely could.
All right. So I need you, and I'm not, this isn't a gimmick. This isn't a shtick. I am going for the opinion right now. Trash it or stash it. That's what we're going with today. Trash it or stash it, because I'm not committed. I think it's fine. I don't think it's good. I think it's bad. I think it's fine. It's kind of one of those performances where, it's the facial hair version of 25 for 45, 250 and 1 touchdown. Okay, that's fine. It's not a great day, but it's not a bad day. It's not the reason you won the game, but you didn't lose because of that performance. It's fine. It's shooting 2 under in a Masters. It's fine. It's not going to win you the tournament, but you're not going to be cut. It's fine. That's where I'm at. The wife despises it. Yesterday, pretty 50-50 split about approval or not on whether we trash it or stash it. Go to the live stream, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, The Fan Upstate, YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, The Rob Brown Show. Blow it up to full screen. You don't have to stay the whole time. You should, but you don't have to stay the whole time. Pop in, drop in the chat, go or no go, stash it or trash it, and let me know if we roll with it or not. Jersey Joe said, nothing's wrong with you. Seriously? Yeah, you know what I meant, Joe. You know what I meant. Let's see. Zach says, Rob Brown, I dig it, dude. It's got my vote. Patrick said, Magnum P. Brown. That might be it for the day. Might be the Magnum P. Brown show today. We'll see how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday. Thank God nope, that was not good. That was not good. We're struggling today. All right. It is Friday. It is our Friday football fiesta today. Of course, we've got the entire weekend to get to. We've got some big news. LaNorris Sellers upgraded to probable for the game this Saturday on the road at Missouri. We'll talk about that. Speaking of upgraded to probable, can I tell you one thing I'm actually really interested in? I am really interested in Cade Klubnik getting Antonio Williams back because he has been upgraded to probable for this weekend's game against Syracuse. I am interested because over the weekend, and I'll get to these numbers in a little while, after the loss to Tech 6 days ago, there was a gentleman that I follow on Twitter. He's kind of a deep dive stats nerd, which is why I follow him. And he went and he pulled Cade Klubnik's statistics in games where he does and does not have Antonio Williams available as his number one wide receiver. And while the does not have is not a huge sample size, there is a dramatic drop in statistical efficiency from Cade Klubnik when Antonio Williams does and does not play. And so my question is going to be, with Antonio Williams back on the football field tomorrow against the Syracuse Orange, if we see Cade Klubnik look like a dude tomorrow, if Antonio Williams pops off, and he's obviously going to be rested up. He was dealing with a hamstring injury that he sustained all the way back in week 1 against LSU. He missed the Troy game. He missed the Tech game. He is back this weekend against Cuse. If Antonio Williams has Cade Klubnik looking like a dude, like the dude that we all expected him to look like coming into the season, what is the attitudinal shift around the Clemson Tigers after that? If he shows up and all of a sudden Cade Williams is going off for 375 and 4 tutties against Cuse, it looks like the offense that the soothsayers told us about.
Cade Klubnik?
Yes.
You said Cade Williams.
Oh, sorry. Cade Klubnik throwing to Antonio Williams. If they look like dudes, if this offense is suddenly just clicking down the stretch, what does that do for the Clemson football team? What does that do for the football team? What does that do for the attitude? What does that do for Clemson as a squad? I think it's a fair question. I think it's one that we very well may have to answer. But I also think the other side of that coin is available too. What happens if Antonio Williams is back and the Clemson offense struggles again? What happens if Antonio Williams is back? Your numero uno wide receiver is back on the football field for the first time since the LSU game, and Clemson still looks questionable on offense. What does that say? What does that do? What does that mean? What does it say if they can't establish a connection? Or do we say, just like we would have in week 1, if the offense isn't clicking in week 1, what do we say? Give it a week. Give it a week. You've got some game action. You got some XP. Give it a week. If they don't click, do we give it a week? Do we start looking ahead to next week and say, all right, they've had some time. Where are you, Clemson fans? What is your concern for the weekend? What do you want to learn from the weekend? I asked this question yesterday about South Carolina. I will ask it of you. Coming up on the show today, on the Friday Football Fiesta, we take a look up and down the college and NFL schedule. We'll give you some picks, previews, predictions, and thoughts. Rashad Beard will join us at 8:40 a.m. We'll talk about the Carolina Panthers as they try to avoid an 0-3 start this weekend. At 9 o'clock, straight up, the boys from the Moving the Chains podcast will join us. We'll get you set up for all of the Friday night lights action taking place around the upstate, all of that and more as we roll on. The Rob Brown Show is live here on the Fan Upstate. Let's go. All right, let's see. Zach says, I dig it. Joe says, got the vote. Zach says, stash it. William says, stash it. Patrick says, stash it. All right, the stream is being dramatically more kind to me than most of my real-life friends. I appreciate it. Y'all stay right there. We'll be right back. Talking football here on a Friday, the Friday Football Fiesta on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. So we've got a gaggle of players that are returning to the Clemson Tigers this weekend. Khalil Barnes is going to be back, amongst others. But I think the one that will likely make the biggest difference is going to be Antonio Williams. Antonio Williams is on his way back this weekend. He is listed as of yesterday as probable for the Tigers. And from what I understand, has been full go in practice after the hamstring injury sustained during the LSU game back in week number 1. So we talked a little bit about what the numbers have been for Cade Klubnik. Earlier in the week, we talked about it against Power 4 teams and against ranked teams. We talked about the fact that the touchdown to interception ratio against teams that enter games against Clemson ranked real bad. And so one of the discussions that we have had is Cade Klubnik and his need for guys, and I don't think that this is a hot take anymore, his need for guys to make plays around him for him. Running backs to bail him out and be available on the outside. Wide receivers to make plays on his behalf, et cetera, et cetera. This is somewhat interesting. Games that Cade Klubnik has played with Antonio Williams and has played without Antonio Williams. Klubnik and Williams have started 21 games together. In those 21 games, Cade Klubnik has 47 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. In those 21 games, Clemson averaging 34.2 points per game. Without Antonio Williams, 11 games. So it is, again, it's a smaller sample size, but 11 games. 12 touchdowns to 8 interceptions and 24.3 points per game. Now, it is unsurprising that when you lose your best wide receiver, your offense takes a step back. That is going to be the same for any team at any level of football across America, especially when you are a passing team. But the drop-off there from 34 points a game down to 24 points a game is huge. 34 points a game. You lose 10 points per game with Antonio Williams not on the football field. Now, in fairness, and this is on me, I need to go back and do a better job at contextualizing the games that were missed. Because if you have Antonio Williams for NC State and Wake Forest, and then you don't have him for Texas and LSU, that's a pretty big disparity. But I also think a 10-point drop, even if that is the case, is pretty significant. I also think the touchdown to interception ratio is pretty significant. You are looking at a touchdown to interception ratio with Antonio Williams of 47-12. I'm bad at math. That's sitting somewhere around what? Almost 5-1. But without Williams, that number drops to like 1.2-1 touchdown to interception ratio. If you had a quarterback at the end of the year who had a 1-1 touchdown to interception ratio, that would be bad. That's my hot football take. That would be bad. So with that being said, what do we need to see to reignite a little confidence in Clemson fans now that Antonio Williams is back against Syracuse? I told a Clemson buddy of mine yesterday, I need this to be a bloodbath for Clemson to spark that confidence again. I need this to be a merciless beating of the Syracuse Orange. I like the direction that Syracuse is heading in. I like Fran Brown, their new HC, quite a bit. I got a chance to have a very short conversation with him at ACC Media Days. One of the first things I look for when I'm talking about coaches, when I'm evaluating coaches, one of the first things I look for is this dude a football dude, right? Like, I don't think, and I think we can go through the list of coaches that are and are not successful. I do not think you can be a successful college football coach in 2025 without having two traits. I think the first trait is you've got to be a football dude. Like, you've got to love the game of football. And I'm not just talking about like we love the game of football where we're watching 14 hours of it on Saturdays. There's a meme going around about Nick Saban right now for those Saban film room clips that he does on game day, where Saban gets in front of the big telestrator and he starts talking about the game and he's like, all right, they're working on a zero dog with a drop back cover 2 and a fire blitz. No. Bunch of football stuff, right? And then the meme goes that Reese or whoever is doing that segment with him will be like, all right, coach, let's explain that for people in a way that might be a little easier to understand. And Nick will point to the board and be like, it's a zero dog with the disguised cover 2 into a, you know what I mean? Like, he's a football guy. He's like, if you can't talk the language with me, there's no point in me having a conversation with you. This is part of the reason why I have been, for the past 2 years, very high on both Clark Lee and Brent Key, because they're football dudes. And the second thing that I think you have to have, and there's no one way that is the right way or the wrong way to make this happen. I think you've got to find a way to make your players love you, right? And that's organic. You can't try too hard, man. Like, they just have to love you. And I think Clark Lee and Brent Key both have that trait. I think I see those two traits in Fran Brown as well. I liked Dino Babbers. He was always very kind, but he wasn't I don't think he was like a football dude. And I think Dino was a guy that players loved him when they were having success early in his time at Cuse, not so much towards the end. But he's kind of one of those guys. We talked about this with Mike McDaniel down in Miami. I love Mike. I hope Mike sticks around forever. But the problem is I think Mike's lost the locker room, and I don't think he can get it back. And that's why he's not going to make it through the rest of the season with Miami. Fran Brown is not just a football dude, but on Syracuse Day at ACC Media Days in Charlotte this year, on Syracuse Day when I was there and he was interacting with his players, like, it was very genuine. I think he's one of those guys. So Syracuse is not a great team on paper. Like, they got a good quarterback. They got some talent on the edge, but they're not a great team. This is not a team that Clemson should in any way, shape, or form find themselves in a game in. But you know what they are? They are very much like Clark Lee and Brent Key's first couple of teams at Vandy and Georgia Tech, respectively. You can look on paper and see they're not the most talented team. They're not even close to the most talented team you're going to play. But they are a team that is going to play very disciplined football. And they are a team that is going to punch and punch and punch and punch and punch. You might put them down 21, and they're still going to throw haymakers because that's the attitude that they have instilled in them. Even with all of that being said, I think you need to go out and you need to win this game by 35. This needs to be a decisive game. And it needs to be a game that the result is never in question, right? Like, the only acceptable outcome for me here, for us not to come back on Monday and say, all right, Clemson fans, now you are in trouble. If you go out and win this game by 3, right? This is going to be one of those spots where you go out and win that game by 3. Dabo Sweeney's going to go to the mic and he's going to take a couple of questions criticizing the play, and he's going to go, we won the game. What do you want? We won the game. Why do we have to be so critical? We won the game. Yeah, but that's not good enough. That's not good enough when I've got FSU hanging 70 burgers down in Tallahassee. That's not good enough when SMU is now fighting for their life. And most importantly of all, that's not good enough when Georgia Tech now has the lead and the tiebreaker over you. Remember, finishing with the same conference record as Georgia Tech does not send you to the ACC title game. They have the tiebreaker. So now you have to do that much better than them to grab that berth. I need decimation, humiliation of Syracuse by Clemson this weekend. Anything less, I will probably come in here on Monday and go, I don't think the national championship aspirations are alive. Will Antonio Williams be that spark this weekend? Clemson fans looking for your answer. 844-326-3663. 844-FANFO. When he text it, call it. Let's talk some ball on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Friday Cruz, welcome in, buddy. Good to have you. Glad you're here.
He sent one for each of us. Happy Friday.
Tony is a supervisor at a high school. He knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Ranger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-RANGER, click Ranger.com, or just stop by. Ranger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Michael from the Warren Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
From the Ingles Market Studio.
Got some big news coming out from the ACC and the SEC. Scheduling stories. Yeah! That's what the people want on a Friday morning. Well, it's what the people are going to get on a Friday morning. How's that? We got scheduling news out of both the Atlantic Coast and Southeastern conferences. Let us start with the ACC, as that I think is the, for now, more impactful news. The Atlantic Coast Conference is working on and will approve, according to reports, a demand that conference members moving forward must play 10 games annually against Power 4 level opponents. 10 of your 12 must come against Power level conferences. Now, what is interesting is that the ACC has yet to commit to playing a 9-game conference regular season slate. They have not committed to playing a 9-game regular season slate. They are going to be meeting in Charlotte next week, the athletic directors of the conference, to have two discussions. Number one, do we move to a 9-game regular season conference slate? And number two, if we do that, or if we do not do that, what does the model look like? The thought right now is that the ACC has two options on the board. Option number one is to, as the Big Ten and Southeastern Conference is done, move to a 9-game conference slate. Option number two is to adopt an 8+2 model. Just like now, you will play 8 conference games annually, and then you must add 2 Power 4 opponents from other sides. The conversation that is going to take place, at least as far as I can understand it, is effectively a few of the schools, much as happened in the SEC. A few of the schools, specifically those that have major out-of-conference power rivals. That is Georgia Tech playing Georgia annually. That is Clemson playing South Carolina annually. That is Florida State playing Florida annually. It appears that at least some of those schools are requesting to stay at 8 conference games, specifically because they believe that they should have the opportunity to have that 9th power game be a game like Clemson, South Carolina, Florida State, Florida, Georgia Tech, Georgia. Is that going to change anything? I don't know. I don't know, honestly, what the ACC's attitude is towards having that extra conference game. I don't know what the attitude is because, and this is the part that I think I repeat every time we have one of these business decisions that comes up. I don't know what the ACC's attitude is towards the television stuff, right? I know that the Big Ten and the Southeastern Conference, for all of the perfectly fine football reasons that they gave, that they wanted a 9-game slate, the real reason that they wanted a 9-game slate was inventory. It's more games. It's more games that you can sell. It's more games you own the rights to. It's more games if you're the Big Ten that Fox has exclusive rights to that matter. If you're the SEC, that ESPN has the exclusive rights to. They can give us all of the thoughts that they want. But at the end of the day, the question mark is going to be, is it beneficial? Is it beneficial for the ACC to move to a 9-game slate? Is that content going to get them paid more? If the answer is yes, then this will happen. But there is one more very interesting reality that has to be dealt with here. The ACC has 17 football playing members.
Nuh-uh.
Uh-huh. Which means that mathematically speaking, there's no way for all schools to play nine conference games. Can't happen.
They're colleges, right? So they know that.
You would think so.
They're supposed to be smart.
You would think so. Now, the obvious implication of this is that one of two things have to happen. Either A, someone must be asked to leave the conference, or B, someone must be asked to join the conference, or option C. And I think this might be the most interesting option of all. Notre Dame is in kind of a nightmare situation right now. Notre Dame is in a nightmare situation in that they are 0-2. Now, they are still, because reasons, ranked inside the AP top 25 at 0-2, ahead of a 3-0 USC team, but we'll come back to that later. Or we won't, I don't know. But they are 0-2. Which means that Notre Dame must be perfect the rest of the ride to get to 10-2 and make sure that they are in. If they are not perfect and they go 9-3, I don't think that they have the SOS, even with the enhanced metrics, to jump in as a 9-3 team. Now, what they do have, obviously, is, as we have mentioned 1,000 times, the brownie points of just being a brand, right? We talk about brand points every year. I firmly believe that there are some teams that are positioned better or worse based on the brand, because America likes watching the brands. Bama.
And that's earned over time, though. It's not like people, you know what? I like the color of those jerseys, so that's our team now. No, these teams have earned that over time because they've been so good for decades.
I don't disagree, but I also will roll with the opinion that we are supposed to enjoy football as the great equalizer. When kickoff happens, what logo's on the side of your helmet doesn't matter. What color your jersey is doesn't matter. What stadium and how many people it holds doesn't matter. From kickoff to the final whistle, all 22 dudes on the field on any given snap must play by the same rules of the game and have the same chance to win. And I would like to think that that would expand to the opportunity to garner a playoff invite. Do you think if we have a 10-2 Notre Dame and a 10-2 Big 12 team, that they're not going to find a gosh darn way to get Notre Dame in because it's a brand? It's a powerhouse brand. It's a huge brand. To me, the answer is yes. I will always circle back to Florida State didn't get left out of the playoffs at 13-0 and ACC champs because of Jordan Travis. They got left out because the committee said we cannot have a playoff that does not feature a Southeastern Conference team. And that Southeastern Conference team with Alabama sneaking in. That is a conspiracy theory in sports that I don't think anyone will ever get me to back off of. So here's your solution. There's three on the table. Number one, you kick someone out of the ACC. I do not see that happening. Number two, you invite somebody into the ACC who would be willing to become a full-fledged member. My question mark is, who's that? Is that Tulane? Is that somebody? Or option number three? The third option I think you work with here is you make Notre Dame games count as being conference games. And even if Notre Dame doesn't become a full member of the conference, even if you allow Notre Dame to keep their television deal in place with NBC and you say, look, we want you to play within the ACC. We want to give you an ACC schedule. You don't have to become a member. You can keep your NBC contract for your home games. You'll play on ABC when you're on the road, just like you would any other game. You'll play on ABC when you're on the road at an ACC team. But you become a member. That's not a member, an honorary member, if you will. You keep your NBC contract. We get to broadcast you when you play ACC games. And in return for doing so, we'll make you eligible for the ACC championship game, even if you're not in the conference. Because what does that garner Notre Dame? You keep your NBC contract. What doesn't Notre Dame join a conference, Rob? Because NBC pays them the same that they would get paid if they were a member of the Big Ten or the SEC. They get the same amount of money, and they don't have to share it with anybody else. It's all theirs. They are the dragon sitting inside the mountain on a hoard of gold. They don't have to share it with anybody. So the problem is, to go back to where I started with the Notre Dame conversation, they're 0-2. A conference championship eligibility would be wildly beneficial for Notre Dame right now. Knowing that they would be eligible for a conference championship down the line would be a big sigh of relief for the Irish, because they get that NBC contract, they get that pile of gold under the mountain. What they don't get is the advantage of knowing a conference championship is an auto bid into the playoffs. So what if you are the ACC and you say, here's what we'd like to do. We would like to make you an honorary member. We would like to have you play an ACC schedule. You can utilize your other games to keep your rivalries with Navy and your rivalry with USC alive. Then you have your one cupcake slot available if you want it. But you play an ACC schedule and you play USC and Navy. You got your one cupcake spot. And if you do this, you can keep your NBC contract. You give us the ability for everybody to play a 9-game schedule, because you've got to have one more team to do so. And we will, in return, not just let you keep your NBC money, but we will make you eligible for the ACC championship at the end of the year. You can be a not ACC member, but still win the ACC championship to the college football playoffs. The only thing that team is going to fight back against at that point, I think, would be, all right, but if we go to the playoff as ACC champ, who keeps the money? Does Notre Dame have to split that money with the conference? I think if I'm Notre Dame, a ticket to bowl eligibility via conference championship game, I think would be worth it to split my playoff money with the ACC. Because if we have a year like we have this year, and we end up starting 0-2 and we don't make it into the college football playoffs, there's no money to be split, right? If Notre Dame misses the playoffs, they're not getting that $20+ million or whatever it is that teams that make the playoffs get. But they get their NBC money, which is a dumb amount of money. And if they go to the playoffs, they get their share. And in return, they got to split the rest of it with the ACC. But you have the ability to make the playoff via ACC title game. I think it's beneficial for everybody. The ACC gets their 9-game slate.
I don't get the benefit for ACC. I get the 9-game thing. All right, I understand that part. But Notre Dame's never going to go for that. I don't think the ACC will offer that, will they?
Why would they? So here's my reasons why they would. Number one, you get your 9-game schedule. You get to play the same 9-game schedule the SEC, the Big Ten play. Take something off the plate where if you get to the end of the year and you only played 8, and even if you played power outside, you get to the end of the year and the committee goes, well, yeah, your ACC team, you're right there in the mix, but you only played 8 conference games and South Carolina played 9. So they get the benefit of the doubt. Number two, by having Notre Dame playing as a conference member, even if they are not one, strength of schedule across the conference goes up. That's a good football team. And I don't think Marcus Freeman's going to let him be a bad football team.
Well, not this year. They're not.
Oh, they're 0-2.
Yeah.
But I also think, and I'm not making the argument they should be ranked. They should not be ranked. But they are 0-2 with 2 top 25 losses on the road and at the crib.
Yeah, 0-2 in college football is
it's not
bad.
ideal.
Yeah.
No, it's actually the worst that you can be through 2 games. I don't think Notre Dame's finishing any worse than 10-2. They'll be a 10-2 football team at the end of the year. I don't think they lose another regular season game. Who do they lose to? The only team on the schedule remaining that I think Notre Dame might lose to would be USC. And aren't we all kind of waiting for the annual Garrett Riley or Lincoln Riley drop? I think so. So if you're Notre Dame, your strength of schedule annually goes up. The ACC's strength of schedule annually goes up. You get to keep your NBC money. You also get eligibility to a conference championship game. Meanwhile, the ACC gets their 10-game slate, and the conference's look goes up in terms of strength as a whole. I honestly don't see a drawback to not doing this. We'll talk more about it coming up later on in the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to say the Notre Dame of sports flashes, but he'd probably take that as an insult. So I'll just say the king of sports flashes, Lonzo.
Yeah, don't be doing that while I'm wearing a Buckeyes jersey. What did they do to Notre Dame last year? The Buffalo Bills remain undefeated and undefeated.
I believe in you.
After a 31-21 win over the Dolphins last night, Josh Allen finished 22 of 28 for 213 yards and 3 touchdown passes, and James Cook rushed for 108 yards and a touchdown on 19 carries. South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers has been upgraded to probable for this weekend's matchup against Missouri. Reports out of Columbia are that Sellers has participated in practice, though his level of involvement hasn't been revealed. Clemson wide receiver Antonio Williams is listed as possible and probable for the Saturday's matchup against Syracuse. Williams injured his hamstring in the week 1 matchup against LSU and has been unavailable since starting left tackle starting left tackle Tristan Lay and safety Khalil Barnes are also listed as probable. What in the world just happened? Wow, I quit. No, I don't know, man. I don't know. I have no. The words just started running together. It was weird. Maybe I was about to pass out. I don't know. I'm extremely embarrassed about my performance there. I'll do better next time if there is a next time. I have no excuses. That read sucked in every way. See, here's what happened. He was talking about Notre Dame, a losing team. And so I went into that, off of that losing mojo, and it affected my performance. Yeah, that's yeah. I haven't seen a text or email to tell me how bad I was, but we all know it was bad. In the end, I can't even blame Rob for that. I was just, And
he would if he could.
No, I would not. I got big shoulders. I can take it. It was not good. It was horrible. It was bad. And if I don't pass out before the next one, By golly. We'll pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, rub some dirt on it, and get in there and do better. Daggum.
Congratulations to the Fan Upstate Week 3 Player of the Week, Woodruff High School's Connor Davis. On Friday, Connor Davis helped lead Woodruff to a 48-6 win over Woodmont. In the win, Connor was 23 of 30 for 354 yards through the air, 3 passing touchdowns, and he also had 2 rushing touchdowns. Again, congratulations to the Fan Upstate Player of the Week for Week 3, Woodruff High School Wolverine quarterback Connor Davis. The Fan.
Upstate. WYRD Greenville. WORD Spartanburg. W249DL Greenville.
W246 CB Spartanburg.
Man, check this out.
For an official Rob Brown Love Shot.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. Get Rob.
Yeah, baby. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Welcome in, buddy, amigo, dudes, dudettes, people all around the world. Great to have you. I am Rob Brown. Thanks for asking. The great one, Lonzo, on the other side of the metaphorical glass this AM spectacular to have you for our Football Friday fiesta. As we roll through, getting you set up for the weekend, we will, here in just a few minutes, begin taking a week, taking. I can do this.
No, it catches.
It does.
And we need to, I don't know, spray some room spray or something to kill that stuff.
We
whatever it is.
We need Kyrie up in here with some sage.
Maybe an exorcism. Yes. Get that bad stuff out of here.
I need Kyrie up in here with the sage to get rid of the juju. All right, we're going to reset. Let's go. Bloop. Let's do the damn thing. We will, here in just a few minutes, begin taking a look at the football weekend across the college and professional footballing landscape. Coming up this morning on the show at 8:40, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast is going to swing by. We will talk to Rashad about the Panthers trying to not start 0-3. There are questions, obviously, about Xavier Legette we need to get to. There are questions about health, about the offensive line with not one but 2 starters going on the IL this week. We'll talk to Rashad at 8:40 and get his thoughts on where the Panthers go from here. 9 o'clock. The fellas from the Moving the Chains podcast will join us. We'll get you set up for the Friday night lights high school schedule around the upstate as well.
Have they seen yet?
No.
Okay.
No, and I'm interested to see how that goes. I'm rocking a mustache, people. I've never rocked a mustache in my life. And it's been about a 50-50 reaction so far. Been about a 50-50 reaction on trash it or stash it.
Sounds like skewed math, but what am I?
Not a mathemologic magician. I know that.
I'm gonna start a petition to get the beard back. That's all I'm saying. Because
somebody on the text said earlier, Rob, the way to handle this is that's your summer look. Grow the beard back out for the cold months, and I think that might be the play. I may go ahead and let the beard grow back out.
Like what, 2 months here?
Yeah, I think I might go ahead, start letting the beard grow back out. Then when we get to like March, April next year, we'll go back to the summer. Maybe we just have a summer stash. I don't know. We'll see. All right, we got football to get to. We got a lot of news we got to get to. A lot of stuff to talk about on the show this morning. And listen, here's the deal. You got a little tasty taste of football last night. Got a little Buffalo v. Miami action on Thursday Night Football. But now we just wait for tomorrow. Now we wait for college football Saturday. Now we wait for toe to meet leather tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which means we've got 30 hours to kill until we get there. I'm going to help you out with that. All right. You know what the best way to kill time is? Talk sports. with your friends, with your family, with your coworkers. It's talk sports, especially when you'd rather be talking sports than be at work, right? Well, you got to go to work, but you can't talk sports while you're there. And that's why we do this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
Are you guys sniffing on newsprint or something?
before they take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
Tis indeed the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you'll need to know before you get to the office this morning and start talking sports with your manager, your boss, your coworker, whoever you talk your sports with, to kill some time between here and 5 o'clock when you get to go home and immediately go to bed and just sleep until game day starts tomorrow. Let's dive right in with item number 1. A couple of NFL stories for you here. We start with last night's Thursday night football game. The Buffalo Bills at the crib end up knocking off the Miami Dolphins 31-21. Miami actually made this a game. Like, this was a game, and not a particularly bad one, to be honest with you. Tua Tagovailoa, 22 of 34, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. However, had a cataclysmic interception late in the game. Miami was driving down the field with an opportunity late to tie it up. They had worked their way into Buffalo territory when Tua Tagovailoa let fly just a bad pass. Did just not see a linebacker coming from the backside, jumped the route, was able to take it away. Devon Achane, 12 carries, 62 yards. The Dolphins ran for 130 combined yards and 1 touchdown. Josh Allen, 22 of 28, 213 yards, 3 touchdown passes, including a little like shovel pass, committed to the run, got to the outside. Miami dove because he had tucked the ball away, and then just a little shuttle pass to the tight end on the inside. Also had touchdown passes along with Jackson Hawes to Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir in this one. Buffalo also ran the ball relatively well. 157 total rushing yards. James Cook owned 108 of them, had a touchdown as well. You guys remember last year when I said James Cook is going to be a dog? Remember last year when I said this kid's going to be good, give him a minute to catch up and watch what this dude's going to be able to do? He is a friggin' dude now, my dudes. Buffalo gets the dub last night. Also, out of the National Football League, it was announced by the NFL that while the Tush Push is not banned, it will be more stringently officiated moving forward. A video along with a memo was circulated by the league itself to all 32 teams across the NFL, I assume because 31 of them had a problem with it, and one was the Eagles. A video circulated of the Tush Push touchdown that Philly scored against Kansas City this past weekend. And the video, shown in slow motion, very clearly showed that at least 2 of the Eagles offensive linemen are jumping before the snap.
This happened multiple times. Doesn't need to be in slow-mo. I mean, you can see it.
Yeah, but
and
I think
as someone
it was,
who sees their tackle go early all the time and get called for it, let's see a little consistency.
if there's one
That's
team
all I'm
that is
saying.
familiar with false starts.
Absolutely.
The Eagles very clearly in the slow-mo video sent to all 32 teams were jumping the gun on the Tush Push snap. The NFL sent a memo around that said, hey, look, like we can't do this anymore. And this is unsurprising to me because I do have a very quick audio bit for you. This is from that game. Rules analyst Dean Blandino.
I am done with the Tush Push, guys. It's a hard play to officiate, like we've been talking about. So they either ruled progress or that Hurts was down. Really hard to see what's happening with the football. We're inside 2, so replay has looked at this, and they've determined that there was no fumble.
Yeah, it never came loose. Tranquil did get his arms around that.
I'm done with the Tush Push, you guys. And the reason Blandino said he's done with the Tush Push, there's 2 primary things that I think the NFL is looking at. One of them, I think, is difficult but solvable. The other one, it is solvable, but you won't like the solution. The first thing is the false start. The Eagles' false start on the tush push. And this video made that very clear. Now, I will say this. It's close. And it's close. But once you see it in slow-mo, it's very clear that they are getting a jump off the ball before the ball starts, which, as we have talked about, is very important for that play because the strength of that play is not the center. It's a left guard and tackle. Most of the time that they run this play, if you watch Jalen Hurts, after he takes the snap, he actually takes a dive to the left behind the guard. Well, in this video, it is very clear that the left guard is one of the players that jumped off sides. The other problem with the tush push, and there is a solution to this, but again, you won't like it, is once Jalen Hurts disappears into that scrum, because remember, you've got the offensive line who go very low. It is stay on the ground and just drive forward crab drill style. And then what have we seen defensive linemen and linebackers do? They jump over the top of the pile trying to get wrapped around Jalen Hurts' waist as they go by and pull him backwards. Well, Jalen Hurts, knowing that, dives down to the ground, stays real low, and kind of crawls into the butt cheeks of the guard to disappear. So there is no way to know where the football is. You can't do it. This isn't officials are fallible and eyesight is never perfect. So, it's hard to officiate. Like I can to some degree understand the difficulty of officiating the false start because it's bang, bang. It's that fast. You cannot know where the ball is when Jalen Hurts dives into that pile. Now, again, super simple way to determine that. Put a chip on the front tip, put a chip on the back tip, and let's have a computer scan where the ball is on the football field at all points in time. But I get it. It is a tough play to officiate.
But they already have that.
No, they do not have that. The Hawkeye stuff is based on the ability to see the football.
Okay.
It is not based on chips. They have 100 cameras that all point at the football, but they can measure where the ball is on the field down to the millimeter of an inch because of the tech that goes into it. But the key is going to be, to me, put a chip on the inside, put a chip on the outside, and let's see where that ball stops, where that ball is precisely the second that the whistle is blown. But that's the other thing is, when Jalen Hurts disappears into that huddle or into that scrum, the referees just kind of have to guess when forward momentum stops, right? Like you can't see it. So I think we should have a way where we can say, okay, the ball stopped moving for a quarter of a second, a half a second, 3/4 of a second, and here's where it was. Was a touchdown?
They had their chance to ban it. Why didn't they?
Because it's still a legal football play.
Yep, they could have made it an illegal football play.
I understand that.
That's how rule makers work, is if you decide, hey, we're going to change the rule and make that no longer legal, they could have done that.
Right, but the best argument anybody brought to the table was, we don't like it. That's not a good reason to ban something, right?
Well, and drawing attention to it is not going to make them stop doing it.
No, of course not. They're not going to stop doing it until the league says you can't do that anymore. But again, the best argument that anybody brought to the table to ban the tush push was, I don't like it, right? They said, oh, it's going to get people hurt. And then they went and they looked and said, no, it really doesn't do that. And then they said it's hard to officiate. And we went, yeah, so are a lot of plays in the NFL. There was no reason to ban it other than Philly can do it, nobody else can, and we don't like that. So, of course, there wasn't a good enough argument to ban it. Now, does that change at the end of this year when now there's going to be entered into the evidence locker video of false starts and questions from and referees criticizing it and the fact that Dean Blandino's on TV saying this place sucks and I hate it? Like, maybe there's enough next season, but for now it is what it is.
Well, it could also, if they start calling those false starts, cause Philly to pause about when they're going to use it, which may make it go away because of that.
We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see. All right, we'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on in the radio program. I got a few more things to get to. Let's get to very quickly item number 2. We mentioned it in the last hour. The SEC and the ACC both announcing scheduling news yesterday. The ACC announcing that they will be requiring, moving forward, conference members to play 10 Power 5 games, Power 4 games. They will be requiring all ACC members to play 10 Power 4 games moving forward. Now, we do not know what that looks like because next month, early next month in Charlotte, North Carolina, the athletic directors around the ACC will all be meeting up. And in that meeting at ACC HQ, they will have a conversation to discuss the feasibility and the benefits and drawbacks of moving to a 9-conference game regular season slate, mirroring what the SEC and the Big Ten have already done. Why would they do that? I assume same reason the SEC and the ACC would, which was inventory. That's going to give you a bunch of extra ACC games that you own the rights to the broadcast on. But I think the other reason is the ACC needs to do everything in its power to look as if they are a conference to be taken seriously, because it has already been proven that if given the opportunity and given even a good enough, not a good, but a good enough argument, the committee will skip ACC teams in favor of SEC and Big Ten teams. You've got to make yourself look as strong of a conference as you can. Moving to a 10-game slate, moving to a 9-game conference slate, 10 power game slate is going to help in that argument. The other news that broke is out of the SEC yesterday. The SEC saying that next Tuesday, they are going to announce what all opponents for every team in their 9-game schedule in football would look like in 2026. Now, scheduling itself, not a huge deal, but contained in that announcement next Tuesday will be the reveal of each SEC team's 3 permanent rival games. You will find out which 3 teams you will be playing annually moving forwards. We have already had the conversation about, if you're South Carolina, who do you want? Tennessee got a lot of attention. Georgia got a lot of attention, etc. I suspect Mizzou may be a South Carolina annual matchup. We'll find out next Tuesday when the SEC announces next year's 2026 football rivals or schedule, including your 3 permanent rivals. Finally, let's get to item number 3. The WNBA is in its playoffs right now, and the WNBA is in its playoffs right now being dominated by former South Carolina Gamecocks. A'ja Wilson is one of those players. She had herself a night last night as the Las Vegas Aces knocked off the Seattle Storm 74-73. That eliminates Seattle and moves Las Vegas into the second round of the WNBA playoffs. A'ja Wilson had 38 points on 14 of 26 shooting last night. No other ace had more than Jackie Young's 14. The Aces shot 46% from the floor, just 3 of 12 from behind the arc, but they did get a few of those points back behind the stripe, 15 of 17 from the charity stripe. For Seattle, not the depth that you would have wanted. That was my big concern for them coming into this playoff series is I think they had some dogs on the front line that could run, but not enough to last. However, the Dogs didn't show up in this one. Anika Ogwumike had 16, led all of the Storm players. Skylar Diggins had 13. Erica Wheeler had 16 off the bench, but outside of that, nobody really a factor. Seattle officially eliminated from the WNBA playoffs. The Aces will move on. Over in the other series that played last night, the Indiana Fever have won their series and eliminated the Atlanta Dream with an 87-85 victory. No Caitlin Clark, no problem in round number 1. Kelsey Mitchell had 24. All 5 Fever starters ended up with double digits last night. 24 from Kelsey Mitchell, 16 from Odyssey Sims in that game last night. They will move on to the next round as well. Aaliyah Boston, by the way, former Gamecock, 14 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists, just 4 assists shy of a playoff triple-double. But Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell lead the Fever into the next round of the WNBA playoffs. All right, let's take a break. When we come back here in just a moment, let us begin looking at the college football weekend. This is unlike last weekend, which looked like it was going to be kind of maybe almost a bit of a down weekend with a few exceptions. This weekend looks like it's shaping up to be pretty good. There's a couple of games, both in our market and outside of it, that I would like to spend some time talking about. We'll start talking about some of the teams that have national implications on the line this weekend. We talk college football when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Mad World.
All right, guys, quick live read. We're coming right back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. So let's talk football, shall we? The college football weekend got started last night with Charlotte and Rice. We have got a few games coming up for you. 2 games, as a matter of fact, this evening. 28-17, by the way. Rice knocks off Charlotte last night. Grayson Loftus in that game, 186 passing yards for the win. Tulsa at Oklahoma State tonight. Okie State favored by 10.5 in that one. Iowa is at Rutgers this evening. We'll get to those games later on, but good weekend of football coming up. And it starts right out of the gate at noon. Texas Tech and Utah. Texas Tech is one of the most interesting teams in college football to me this year. Texas Tech is 3-0. Texas Tech is is third in the Big 12 as they have not yet played a conference game. Both Iowa State and Houston have one conference win. Colorado and Kansas State both have one conference loss. Everybody else is 0-0 in the conference. Texas Tech has only played Oregon State out of top-level football teams. They won that game 45-14 last weekend. The reason Texas Tech is interesting is twofold. Number one, and we talked about this, Texas Tech has got like a shocking amount of money. Texas Tech had a huge influx of money into their NIL and into their program itself. So they were able to put together a pretty interesting college football roster. A lot of guys that probably would have ended up at bigger schools are on this roster. Number two, it's the numbers that this team has put up. 67, 62, and 45 points in their 3 games. Those 45 points came against Oregon State. Now, in fairness in that game, Oregon State is 0-3. It is not your daddy's Oregon State team like they were a handful of years ago. But it is the fact that in that game, their quarterback, a cat I told you 2 weeks ago to start keeping an eye on because he may have something to say in the national picture at the end of the year, Baron Morton. 464 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception in that game against Oregon State. Again, not a good Beavers team. However, 464 yards against anybody is a pretty good showing. They can wing the football. They had 3 receivers go over 100 yards in this game. All 3 of those receivers caught a touchdown as well. Coy Eakin had 5 catches, 123 yards. Jacoby Williams, 7 grabs, 116. Terrence Carter Jr., 6 grab, 102. All of them had a tutty. Caleb Douglas had 2 catches for 77 yards and also a touchdown. This Texas Tech team is very interesting. This is the best team that they have played in the Utah Utes, however. And Utah has been pretty proud of the defense they've put together. So far, through 3 games, Utah has given up 25 points. 10 of them came on the road at UCLA in the opening game. 9 of them against Cal Poly. 6 of them against the Wyoming Cowboys last weekend. This team has allowed double digits 1 time, and it was by a single point. They've got a pretty solid and commendable defense for what the Utah Utes were expected to be, which was obviously an offensively driven football team. They have scored 43, 63, and 31. Out of the gate, I love this game. Utah favored by 3.5 in this one. I like the upset here. I like the Red Raiders on the road against Utah. I think it is a more adaptable offense than Utah has. I think it's a shootout. The over-under on this game is 56.5 points. I like the upset in that one. Syracuse at Clemson is a noon game. Clemson favored in this game by 16.5. There is a part of me that wants to take my Magnum PI light-looking ass up to Asheville, North Carolina, and wants to put money down on the Clemson Tigers. It's fair. It's fair. I wish I did a Detroit Tigers hat. Like I don't own any MLB merch that's not the Atlanta Braves. I'd rock a Tigers hat today just to see if anybody picked up on the reference. You know what I mean? Like just to see if anybody walked up to me and just called me Magnum in public, which would
definitely
be awesome.
It would be a compliment for sure.
It would be awesome. Syracuse at Clemson. Tempted to throw a paycheck at Clemson minus 16.5 because this is a narrative game for me. This is a narrative game in that anything less than a cover for me, I'm done with Clemson in 2025. I mean, I'm not done covering them. That's half of y'all's team. I'm going to cover them. That's not to say I'm done with them as in, oh, the program's over. But I think this year's aspirations, even if you win, if it is a close game, I'll tell you what I don't want. 3-point, 5-point win. Dabo gets to the mic Saturday after the game. Somebody says, all right, Dabo, like good win, but you were favored by 16.5. You know, you didn't look smooth. You didn't look whatever. What do you want to chalk that up to? If I hear we won the game, why are we not talking about we won the game? You're better than this team. This is a team that is in the midst of a massive transition. Massive transition. Fran Brown is stepping in as their head coach, replacing Dino Babers. Fran Brown is stepping in, and this is, you want to talk about a cultural reset? This is a complete, total, and entire cultural reset for Syracuse. I like Dino. He was a great guy. He was always fun to talk to whenever I got the chance to bump into Dino Babers at ACC Media Days or whatever. But it was run like an old school program. It was run like an old school program. Fran Brown is coming in, and while I really do like the attitude Fran Brown has towards interacting with his players, Fran Brown is also trying to update the Syracuse Orange program. He's got him going in the right direction. I actually think this team may have a future ahead of them. But they don't have the dogs right now. Like, this is a game that for Clemson, with Antonio Williams, with Khalil Barnes, with these guys being back, this is a game that if you come in and you execute, you should win this game by 3 touchdowns going away. Like, this should be an easy dub. Anything less than that, I'm going to have questions, concerns, problems that we need to talk about. Ready for an interesting one? Wofford's on the road at Virginia Tech this weekend. Virginia Tech got beat by Old Dominion, and they got their coach fired. Virginia Tech is a flailing college football program right now. It is so interesting because as of right now, I can't find a betting line on this game. You know what that says to me? Maybe Wofford, maybe the Terriers go on the road and get an upset over Virginia Tech. I'm not going to say it's out of the cards. Not by a long stretch. South Carolina State on the road at South Florida. I saw a couple of people on the upset picking SC State to go get the upset. I hope they do. I think it'd be entertaining as hell if they do. I also think it'd be wildly entertaining to see South Florida knock off 2 top 25 teams, including the Florida Gators, but then get hammered by Miami and lose to SC State. I think South Florida is going to win this game. UAB at number 15, Tennessee. Game of the day for me. It might be. It might be. I'm not saying it is. It might be. But game of the weekend for me might turn out to be Auburn versus Oklahoma. There's a lot of storylines in this game. None bigger than Jackson Arnold. Jackson Arnold's quarterbacking the Auburn Tigers. Jackson Arnold was an Oklahoma Boomer Sooner. Jackson Arnold got pretty much cleared out of town because Brent Venables said, hey, John Mateer is our guy. And by the way, can't question it. John Mateer and Carson Beck are now your Heisman Trophy frontrunners in the Vegas betting market. You don't think Jackson Arnold's got a little something in the tank? You don't think he wants a little something from them Oklahoma Boomer Sooners? Oklahoma favored by a touchdown in the hook, 7.5 in this game. That's not a bad upset pick right there. I don't know if it's going to happen because I got zero love for Hugh Freeze as a coach or a dude. But if Jackson Arnold plays lights out, this is interesting. I give you one more that I'm real intrigued by. Depending on the book you're looking at, Michigan's at Nebraska this weekend. Remember, no Sherman Moore for this one. They're head coachless. Michigan is a 1.5 point favorite over the Cornhuskers. Vibes pick. This feels like a Matt Rule announcement game. It's year 3. This is the year he's supposed to get it done. This is the year that they're supposed to hit the big Matt Rule turnaround. They are undefeated with wins over Cincinnati, Akron, and Houston Christian. They had a close game against Cincinnati. Remember, that was the road game at Arrowhead. But they put up 68 on Akron, 59 on Houston Christian. Upset pick of the weekend. Give me Nebraska to upset Michigan at the crib. Give me Matt Rule and the Huskers to get it done against the Wolverines. All right, when we come back, we'll take a look at the afternoon slate. We're getting into the 3:30, the night games. We'll talk South Carolina, Mizzou. We'll talk about Illinois, Indiana. We'll talk about a lot of big national games coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Well, is Illinois, Indiana a big national? I guess.
Top 25? Top 20? Top 19. Illinois is number 9. Indiana's number 19. Who's favored in that contest and by how much? Stab at it. Indiana by 9.5. Yeah. That's a shocking number. All right, guys, stay right there. I'll be right back. Don't go. I think it's a narrative weekend for South Carolina. I think it's a narrative weekend for Matt Rule and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I'm in, by the way. I've been in on the Huskers this year. I like the direction that this team is headed in this weekend, the first big test for them. They were on the road in week number 1 against Cincinnati, a good but mid Bearcats team, but it was all the way over in Kansas City, Missouri. So that's a very interesting first result. They win that game by 3 going away. But as we pointed out, those have always been the games that Nebraska has been cracked on for finding new, impressive, and unique ways to lose. They figured out how to get that one done. Then they've hung 50s and 60s on the board in the 2 weeks since then. They knock off Michigan. Like, Michigan's going to have some excuses. But if they knock off the Michigan Wolverines, this one becomes a very interesting football game. They knock off the Michigan Wolverines. It's not just an interesting football game, but if they knock off the Michigan Wolverines, it becomes, I think, putting the conference on notice that the black shirts are back. We'll find out. Some of the other big games coming up this weekend. This one, I am so confounded. This game isn't going to matter to a lot of you, but I am confounded by the Duke Blue Devils. Now, I came into the year making 0 proclamations about what the Blue Devils were going to be. I did, however, talk about them extensively because I had a question. And the question was a 9-win season for Duke last year caused because Manny Diaz got his butt handed to him at Miami, and he learned some lessons, and he brought them to North Carolina, and he installed them with the Blue Devils, and it's actually a good team? Or did the Duke Blue Devils win 9 games last year because the year before that, Mike Elko, noted football dude, stacked that roster to the highest level it's ever been stacked, and Manny Diaz came in and took advantage of that? And I said, to be honest with you, I could see either one of those two things being true. If I am going with the what's on tape philosophy, I don't have any reason to believe that last year's 9-win season was because of Manny Diaz. None. But I was willing to accept that it was an option. It was a possibility for the reason Duke ended up winning 9 games last year. Duke is 1-2 with a 45-19 loss to Illinois. Now, 2 things about that game. Number 1, obviously, Illinois, pretty good football program. Top 10 football program, by the way. They're playing Indiana coming up this weekend. We're going to get to that game in a minute because that is another one of the most interesting games of the weekend. But a top at the time 11, now a top 9 team in Illinois. What's interesting about that game is that the Duke Blue Devils were down 1 point at the half. Down 1 point at the half. Turned the ball over 4 times in the second half. It led to a blowout. Indiana cashed in on every one of those turnovers. Last week, on the road at Tulane, what should have been a get-right game. Now, again, Tulane is a team that a number of folks have picked as their group of 5 squad. Tulane could backdoor their way into the 12th seed of the college football playoffs. Do I think they're a threat? No, obviously. But it's a good little team. And you were on the road at Tulane. And I will say, while it is not a big stadium, I've been to a game at Tulane down in New Orleans, Louisiana. And what I can tell you is it's a sneaky good little home field advantage they've built in Tulane. Like a sneaky good little home field advantage. Duke loses that game 34-27, lose it by a score. Darian Mensah in that game, the quarterback for Duke, 30 of 51, 313 yards, 3 touchdowns, but a very costly interception. They also had a fumble in that game. Duke has lost 2 games, and both of those 2 games are directly attributable to turning the ball over in the second half. Both of those games are directly attributable to giving the rock away and giving extra possessions to the opponents. Do they get that right? Because NC State, Again, a team we have talked about at length for a lot of the same reasons. What an interesting team. NC State was a team that when we entered the year, I said, I think that there are two coaches that enter the year on the hot seat. Brent Pry at Virginia Tech, he lost to Old Dominion, he is gone. And Dave Doran at NC State. I think they like him, but I think NC State's been kind of hovering on that bubble of will we ever take a step forward for a very long time. Dave Doran's got this team at 3-0. Now, not particularly or overwhelmingly impressive in any of these games, but they are 3-0. They got Duke this weekend, and it is at Duke. This game's intriguing because Dave Doran might be coaching for his job, whereas Manny Diaz is trying to coach to prove, hey, I'm the right guy for this job to avoid the hot seat going into year number 3 next year. This game could be consequential for both of them. Duke favored by 2.5. A couple of other games. Temple's at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech favored by 23. When's the last time we saw Georgia Tech favored by 23.5 in a football game? Even when they were bad, that wasn't a thing. Or playing real bad teams, it wasn't a thing. South Carolina, Mizzou. Lonzo, I asked this question of our dear listeners yesterday. I'll ask it from you today. We've got our audio blitz coming up in the next segment. We'll do a few more games. We'll do some abstract thoughts on games. We got Rashad Beard. So I'll ask this question of you here. And that question is this. LaNorris Sellers upgraded to probable. Looks like he is going to play this weekend. What lessons do we want to learn from this game? What do we want to take away? What should our opinion be about South Carolina at the end of this Mizzou game? A game in which, by the way, they are now 9.5 point underdogs.
The lesson we can learn is something that we thought going into the season is how LaNorris goes, so do the Gamecocks. And we saw how they folded last week as he went out. So was that true? Or are they just playing that bad? We'll find out. If he's in the game and every facet of the game is stepped up, well, then it would have to look like it was because of him.
It's not unfair. The takeaway I had yesterday was I just want to see this team come out and punch somebody. Metaphorically. Maybe literally. We'll see how it goes. But metaphorically, I just want to see this team come out and have some damn heart, man. Because that was my takeaway from last week. And yes, it is because they lost LaNorris Sellers. And after Lonzo's take on that on Monday, after Denton Day's take on that on Wednesday, I am willing to look at that and say, yes, it is understandable that when sorry about it, heart and soul of your team goes down, the heart and soul of your team goes down. Your mood, your spirit is going to go down with that as well. I still expected fight, man. We didn't get it. So now I am looking at, do you recognize what happened in that spot? And do you address it? You know, Rob Brown has been known. Sometimes Rob Brown has been known to get a little emotional in the heat of the moment. And sometimes Rob Brown has been known to perhaps overreact in the heat of the moment in certain ways that, given a day or two to gain some space and perspective, Rob Brown would look at the behaviors of Rob Brown and go, you big dummy. That was not how you should have reacted in that situation. But I also understand we're all human beings. We all have emotions, and sometimes things go bad, and you react to those things in certain ways. I think that I want to see a football team that looks back at the loss to Vanderbilt and says, we reacted poorly to the loss of LaNorris Sellers. What should have happened is we should have come out sans LaNorris Sellers in the second half, and we should have been even more physical. We should have been even angrier. We should have come out and punched somebody in the mouth, metaphorically. Instead, what we did was rolled over. I want to see somebody come in and punch some folks in the mouth. That's it. That's what I'm looking at. That's all I want to see. Just come out and show me win, lose, draw. You're a 9.5 point dog. Yeah, I want to see you win the game. In fact, I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm very close. I'm not for sure, but I'm very close to picking South Carolina in the upset. But right now, today, right this moment at 7:51, I have 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 40 seconds to change my mind. Right now I'm picking Missouri until I see a little fight. Will we? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's skip to some of the other big games taking place. Florida is at Miami. Florida, here's the thing about Florida. You know what's frustrating?
Is it a big game anymore with the way Florida has been playing?
It is. And I'll tell you why, though. It's for two reasons. Florida's doing their gosh darndest to spell the narrative right now that we don't turn the ball over 5 times, we win against LSU. And here's the thing. I think that's a correct take. You threw 5 picks and you lost by 10. If he throws 3 picks instead of 5, I think they probably win that game. Here's the other part about this that a lot of people are losing because we're all caught up in the DJ Lagway talk, and I think that's fair. Florida has given up 26 points so far this season. They gave up 16 to South Florida. 36 points. They gave up 16 to South Florida, and they gave up 20 to LSU. That's 2 games against 2 teams. South Florida was not ranked yet, but they would be the next week. Granted, it's because they beat Florida, but they would be ranked. And against the number 3 team in the country. They've given up 36 total points so far. The problem is the offense has only scored 26. They can't run the ball. Receivers aren't getting open. And DJ Lagway has not been good at all. This is Billy Napier's game that gets him fired if he gets hammered in this game. So I do think there is some narrative in that one. Illinois and Indiana is the other interesting game of the season. This is a top 20 matchup. Kurt Cignetti and Brett Bielema are a combined 27-5 between last season, the bowl season, and this year. However, here's what's interesting. Neither has played an opponent ranked higher than 65th in the SP Plus number, if you care about that. Both are in the top 15 in points and points allowed per drive this season. They're rolling people right now. Now it's the time where they've got to play somebody. That is it. Indiana, who is the lower ranked team in this game, Indiana is favored by 6.5 points in this game. It is at home, so they get the 3.5. They say it's a field goal difference better for Fernando Mendoza, who's, by the way, fun as hell to watch if you haven't checked that out. This game could be a game of the weekend candidate. It's not a Blue Bloods game. It's not a game that looks super sexy on the TV lineup. It's certainly not a game that across the Southeast is going to be like a highlight game. I'm telling you right now, you better put your eyeballs on Indiana versus Illinois at 7:30 on NBC. There's a reason that this game got the national slot for the Big Ten, because this is going to be a fun game. All right, we'll take a look at some of the other big ones of the weekend coming up later on in the show. We got Rashad Beard coming up in about 40 minutes from now. The Moving the Chain fellas, just over an hour to set you up for the high school weekend. All of that after a Heisman Trophy-worthy sports flash.
The Buffalo Bills remain undefeated after a 31-21 win over the Dolphins last night. Josh Allen finished 22 of 28 for 213 yards and 3 touchdown passes. And James Cook rushed for 108 yards and a touchdown on 19 carries. South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers has been upgraded to probable for this weekend's matchup against Missouri. Reports out of Columbia are that Sellers has participated in practice, though his level of involvement hasn't been revealed. Clemson wide receiver Antonio Williams is listed as probable for this Saturday's matchup against Syracuse. Williams injured his hamstring in the Week 1 matchup against LSU and has been unavailable since. Starting left tackle Tristan Lay and safety Khalil Barnes are also listed as probable. Our number 3 of the Rob Brown Show is coming up next. Yeah, I know what messed me up last time. It's kind of Rob's fault, but not his fault. He had probably instead of probable. And it threw me off the first time, and I'm like, okay, why is that? Oh, okay. So now I've fixed it. I could just not read the Clemson story because that's what got me last time too. I don't know. Hey, I'll take a B+. One teacher's B+ is another one's A-. I mean, you know. But as I would tell my kids, especially my son, when he would come home with like a B+, okay, do you know what you did to not get an A? And I know what I did to not get an A. One letter, and I fixed it. By the way, reading on the air is not a challenge. The challenge is reading on the air and getting the acceptable amount of stories within the allotted time. It is a contest. It is a game. Can I fit it in within the music? I think when Rob reads it, he don't care. Speaking of Robert, where he is. Three friends, first break.
10-4. Three friends, first break. A B+ on that one.
Yeah, here's the reason why, because you have probably instead of probable, and that's what threw me off the first time. And so I figured it got me this time too, right at the end. So I've now fixed it. It's my fault because when I proofread, I should have fixed it. So we're going to blame it on the editor. We're going to blame it on me. Okay. Probably does work there. It's just not within football context. It just.
Can you dig it?
The Rob Brown Show's a Friday football fiesta is on, y'all. You know what? I'm going out with a couple of the fellas this evening. All right, the ladies out of town, and when the ladies away, the boys will play. I'm going out with the boys tonight, and I have recently purchased some clothing that's not like traditionally in the Rob Brown repertoire. It's not really my thing. But I just kind of wanted to see, like, let's take it for test drive. Let's see if we like it, right? Like maybe sometimes there's stuff that you go, I'm not going to like that. And then you try it and you like it. Food, clothing, style, whatever. And the more Zoe keeps playing the Magnum PI theme, because if you haven't joined us on the stream yet, I'm test driving a mustache for the first time in my life. And I'm not committed to it, but I'm not against it yet. Like it happened on Wednesday. It's now Friday. I still have not decided where I've landed on this. Yeah, I know. And my wife. So it's probably going away. But she hasn't seen it in person yet.
Whether I care or not doesn't matter, but we know who does. So
yeah,
I mean,
there are two opinions that matter on whether or not I make this a thing or not. Mine and the wife's. Now, she's only seen it over a phone screen when I FaceTimed her on Wednesday. And her response was, and I quote, absolutely not. So there's that. But, you know, it's I told her, like, wait till you see it in person.
So
maybe you won't hate it.
You're trying to decide if you're going to be defiant. If you're going to say, this is my face.
No.
This is what I'm going to do.
No. I am trying to decide if I like it enough to keep it.
All right.
Because if I like it enough to keep it, as she is a good wife, she'll go, I don't like it, but it's your face. Have at it. Like, she's not going to say no. But she will say, I hate it, but you can keep it.
Listen, you spend a lot of money getting logos made and making, you know, your head the show, and now you're changing your head. So you're going to have to go spend money and change that logo, or the logo's a lie. And I don't like being a part of a lie.
Well, for the record, the only logo that has its face on it, I made that in Canva like 10 minutes. The logo that's on the screen right now with the microphone is the official logo, which there's a reason I don't put my face on logos. So it's up in the air. But the more the great one plays,
me down, didn't you?
The more the great one plays the Magnum PI theme, the more I'm thinking, maybe this is how I go out with the fellas tonight. Maybe I keep the Hawaiian shirt on. Maybe I head down to the Hibbets and see if I can find a Detroit Tigers hat and just see who gets it. Why not?
I mean, there's other sports places.
They usually have the good hats.
Oh,
you got to have the good hats.
Maybe
right?
go to play it again so you don't have to pay full price for it, but then you have to wear someone else's hat.
No, give me the Detroit Tigers hat, but I'm going to go flat bill. It's going to be like contemporary Magnum PI.
Does Chris down the hall know that you raided his closet?
No, this is not. No. This is me.
Okay.
I have 17 Hawaiian shirts.
He's been wearing those for years.
Oh, I know. So have I. These are in the
okay.
rotation. I did live before I got here. I've been Hawaiian shirt guy since I grew up on a beach.
You lived in Jacksonville, right?
Butthole of America. It is 8:04 in the AM, people. Let's do an audio blitz because I we didn't get a chance to do so yesterday because Alonso so rudely left the show.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I'm done with this. I can't take this mustache.
So rudely.
I'm going to go somewhere else and work.
Left the show. It was unbelievable. So let's get to a couple of clips. I want to start with this one. I've used the phrase many, many times. I'll use it again. How can you not be romantic about baseball? Like, baseball is just, it's perfect in just about every way, except for balls and strikes being called by umpires. It's perfect in just about every way. This is Pat Murphy. He's the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers clinched a playoff spot, and they had just a very special moment in the locker room afterwards.
I got a letter today from you, and before we toast, I want to read it. Thanks, Mark. Thought it was fitting. The last time that we celebrated, Duke was with us. Howdy, boys. Never a doubt you would get this invitation. You did it by believing. Really miss you guys, and I wish I was there. Things are good. The God Almighty picked me to be on his team up here. Albeit I'm the third catcher. It's a great league. No day games after night games. No shadows. But you got all the sticky you need to have up here. Told the big guy about you guys. You play hard every night. You're not afraid to play for each other. He's obviously very interested in the group with this uncommon goodness. The fact that you have the best record in baseball, the best road record in baseball, has caught his attention. You don't really need me I know you guys really don't need me, but I've got to tell you, I'll be on the headset every night watching. And don't forget to take it all in, enjoy it, keep it light, and believe in each other. Bob Uecker. So let's toast to him and to our team, what we've achieved so far. Hey. Supposed to be non-alcoholic.
That was Pat Murphy reading a letter to the Milwaukee Brewers from the late, great voice of the Brewers, and as far as I'm concerned, all-time voice, one of the two. It's him and it's Vinny Scully, the late Bob Uecker, after the Brewers clinched their divisional title in the NL Central and their playoff spot overall. I love it, dude. How can you not be romantic about baseball? That's absolutely the best. Let's give you this one. Lonzo, I think you'll appreciate this one. This one is from a cat by the name Don LaGreca. He hosts a show on ESPN New York.
The league won't allow it. I'm just going to throw it out there. The NFL is not going to allow the Chiefs to start 0-3. There's too much on the line. I'm sorry. Call me a conspiracy theorist. I will. ESPN can fire me. The NFL is not going to allow the Kansas City Chiefs to lose that game on national television and be 0-3. That's not going to happen. What are they going to do? But you've got they're getting married later. They're engaged.
But you don't really believe
they got all these nationally televised. It's not. I'm telling you, we're going to sit here on next Monday.
Well, they're
Sunday
just going to
night
win, though.
We're going to sit there and we're going to say there's going to I'm telling you, there's going to be at least 3 calls where we're like, how did that happen?
But do you think they're really going to need that?
Probably not. I'm just telling you, on top of the Giants not being good, the league just won't allow it. I'm like, well, honestly, people, rise up. Come on, speak our minds here. Is there any world that the NFL?
Okay, so that clip, I pushed the wrong button, but you get the point. I love it. It is adorable that my guy is just going ahead and laying the groundwork now for his team to get hammered by the Chiefs this weekend so that he can come in on Monday and go, nuh-uh, they cheated before the game even starts.
So what I enjoyed was the chemistry between the two, the loud guy and the quiet guy trying to hold his laugh when he's asking him the questions. It just sounds really familiar.
My favorite part was, you can call me a conspiracy theorist. I will. Like, that's spectacular. Spectacular. I love that clip.
If the league wouldn't allow it, then why didn't they call those false starts on Tush Push? I mean,
well, because the thing now is, you guys are old news. We're finding our new one.
So Philly's the one.
Philly's the hot right now,
Okay.
but we're also, and this is a Bill Burr conspiracy theory, which I'm also kind of thought was hilarious. I forgot to get the edited clip, but Bill Burr, comedian who I absolutely adore, said that he believes that the NFL right now is testing the waters of replacing Mahomes and Kelsey with Josh Allen as their face of the league. He said, think about it. You tune into that Sunday night football game. By the end of the first quarter, we've seen Josh Allen's wedding pictures 13 times. He's like, do you think football fans, give a damn about Josh Allen's wedding pictures? We don't. We don't care about that. We're not going to care about Kelsey's. We don't care about any of it. We just want to watch football. But the NFL has got to pitch to people who are there for the entertainment, not the football. And that's how you do it, is you show the human side of this. We haven't seen the wedding pictures of any other player except Josh Allen.
But here's the other thing. Haley Steinfeld is famous. So if he was just marrying someone no one had ever heard of before, they wouldn't have done that. But he married someone famous.
I agree. But I also don't think the theory is wrong.
We didn't see any Sierra pictures back when but you know, Russell Wilson isn't as good as Josh Allen.
Russell Wilson had a minute where he was as good as, well, people thought he was as good as Josh Allen is. He's not. Nobody is.
Yeah, beast mode and a killer defense.
Jackson Dart, speaking of the New York Football Giants, Jackson Dart got drafted by those same New York Football Giants. Well, he had a very unique opportunity. After he got drafted, Eli Manning called Jackson Dart. He said, hey, I called the guy. I wanted to offer up, if I can be of any assistance.
So I told Jackson, if you have any questions about anything,
I'm here for you, football related, or just, when you're deciding, what town you want to live in, or this or that, or also it's training camp. He calls me, one day, he's like, hey, you got a minute? I'm like, yeah, of course. So, such a similar situation we're in, like, bringing in a veteran, like Russell Wilson, they brought in
Kurt Warner. Yeah, sure.
I was like, maybe this is dealing with that or something. He goes, can you give me a reservation at Fort Charles tonight at 6:30?
The best French dip in America.
Yeah. I was like, no, that's not part of the deal. Like when I said I'm having to help out, I'm not doing that. I'm not your reservations guy. You have to earn the right to call and get your reservation.
That's amazing. Fort Charles Prime. Let me just give a little context to it. It's this like 8-table restaurant in Greenwich Village in New York City. It's impossible to get a table. It's one of those where you can't just go on Open Table or Resi and get a reservation. It's probably the greatest meal I've ever had in my life.
So Jackson Dart, newly drafted to the New York Giants, gets extended an offer from Eli Manning. Hey, man, listen, if you need anything, if you need a football question, if you need to know where to go or where to live in New York, if there's anything I can help with, the first call he makes to Eli is, yo, bro, you're Eli Manning. Can you get me a Resi at the most exclusive and elite restaurant in New York City for 4, please, tonight? It's tonight at 6. He's like, bro, that's not what I meant.
Hold on.
I love that from Jackson Dart, new favorite player.
Eli deflected. Here's what he did. He made it look like, well, I'm not helping this rookie out. Eli ain't got that kind of pull.
In New York, Eli has that.
He
pull.
does not. He couldn't do it either. He couldn't do it either. So he put it on Jackson Dart, knowing that there was no way that he could get a reservation at that place either.
I think you very much underestimate the love that city has
By
for
the
Eli
way,
Manning.
maybe back in the day, but how many years has it been since he played? And didn't he get benched while he was there? I'm just
his
saying.
last year, and New York fans were PO'd about it. They were mad about it. That's part of the reason that whole administration got run out of town.
He ain't played in a decade.
Yeah, and that was the last time they were good. You don't think they're going to hang on? When Mahomes and Kelsey step away and the Chiefs go back in the gutter, you're going to, 10 years from now, be like, who cares about Mahomes?
I don't think they'll go in the gutter. It depends on who the coach is, but yeah.
When Reed steps away, you're not going to look back in 10 years and be like, hey, those were pretty good times.
Well, yeah,
Andy Reid probably gets key to the state.
Maybe.
All right, let's get 1 or 2 more in here. Let's go with, let's see, where's my, you know what? Let's go with this one. I've been hanging on to this one for a minute. We've been following, obviously, the Kawhi Leonard situation in the NBA. If you haven't been up to date on that story, effectively, when Kawhi Leonard signed with the LA Clippers, at the same time, he signed a endorsement deal with a company called Aspiration. The company Aspiration was a, because it doesn't exist anymore, was a company that was run under the pretense of helping go green, right? Like helping people be energy conservationists, whatever. So Kawhi gets a contract with this company that coincidentally enough was for about the same amount of money that Kawhi could have gotten had he gone and signed elsewhere, and it kept the Clippers under the cap. And more stories have broken. Like, for instance, we found out a few days ago from Pablo Torre, we found out that Aspiration was late on a multi-million-dollar payment to Kawhi Leonard for this deal. They were late to Kawhi Leonard because they were bankrupt and going out of business. Well, at the same time that it was discovered that this company was bankrupt and going out of business, was over, all of the sudden, a minority owner of the LA Clippers, not Steve Ballmer, another minority owner of the Clippers, just happened to invest about the same amount of money that was owed to Kawhi Leonard in a company that was already bankrupt and going out of business. Not great. Well, 2 clips from NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. One of them comes from a day or 2 after the story about Aspiration broke.
When the podcast came out, it was news to me. I'd frankly never heard of the company Aspiration before, and I'd never heard a whiff of anything around an endorsement deal with Kawhi or anything around engagement with the Los Angeles Clippers. So it was all new to me.
When the podcast, Pablo Torre's podcast, Pablo finds out, When the Pablo podcast dropped, he said, I had never heard of aspiration. Well, then a couple of days later, a journalist found details of a conversation Adam Silver had about aspiration before he said he had never heard of aspiration. So somebody said, whoa, Adam. You had heard about him because you talked about him before you said, I've never heard of him. So Adam Silver got the chance to fire back, and this is the response he had.
If I said I never heard of it, I meant in the context of the accusations here. I mean, I certainly was aware of the brand, but I didn't know anything about
God.
When
Nope. That's not good enough, Sylvie. That's not good enough, Silver. Silver said a handful of days ago, I've never heard about the company aspiration. And then somebody said, yes, you did. And he said, well, what I meant was in the context of the Kawhi story.
That's a pretty good.
That's not what you said.
That's a pretty good deflection off the cuff. But I mean, it's not a good look, but still, it's a pretty quick deflection.
Yeah, I mean,
very political.
Very political. That's gross. Buddy.
Depends on what is.
Here's the problem. The problem that I have is, and drug prices are coming down 1,500%. Like, no, that's not how things work, Adam. We know that, okay? Like, we know that. The interesting thing about this to me is that this is being labeled, the Clippers Kawhi story, this is being labeled as the largest salary cap circumvention story in the history of major professional American sports. This is the type of story we've said in years gone by. What do you think it would take to derail a professional American sporting outlet? And I've had one answer and one answer alone. I think there is only one thing that can do it, and that is finding out officially, for sure, guaranteed, proven empirically, that a league is rigged. A lot of conspiracy theories thrown around, great. If it is ever thrown out and proven that a league is rigged, that is what will take a league down. This is interesting because the NBA is already committed to doing a full and wholesale investigation into what happened with Ballmer, with the Clippers, with aspiration with Kawhi Leonard. But if I've got a commissioner who is in charge of the investigation, who is, it would appear from these two clips, actively willing to lie about the thing, then in what world do I walk away from that investigation thinking that there is any reason to be confident in the belief that the NBA will indeed investigate and, if proven, actually bring the hammer down on a Clipper or on the Clippers or on the Clippers owner who has been largely very good for the NBA. Ballmer's been good for the NBA. I don't have any now. If Adam Silver's willing to that bold-faced lie, and then when called on the lie, just go, oh, that's not what I really meant. That's not what I really meant. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in a minute. We got Rashad Beard joining us in about 20 minutes to talk Carolina Panthers. The boys from the Moving the Chains pod joining us in about 40 minutes to set you up for the high school football weekend and a whole lot of football around that on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
We're friends.
All right, guys, one more live, hitting the restroom, and then we're right back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. Short segment here before we get to Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast coming up in the next segment of the radio program. We brought this up earlier in the show. I have a proposal that is in relation to the announcement that the Atlantic Coast Conference will require conference members from this point moving forward to play 10 power level games per year. Now, the other side of this story is that so far, the ACC has not made the move to a 9 conference game regular season as the SEC and the Big Ten have. The athletic directors from around the ACC will all be meeting early next month in Charlotte, North Carolina at ACC HQ to have discussions about moving to 9 games, what that might look like, or do they stay at 8 games and adopt an 8+2 model? That is, you play 8 conference games and you play 2 other games outside of the conference, but at the power level. And this is going to be obviously school by school. There will be schools like, say, Clemson. Clemson has now signed that home and home and home and home and home and home with Notre Dame, and they have South Carolina at the end of every year. They've already got 10. Their other 2 games are cupcake squads. If Clemson was to end up in a spot where 10 is mandated, they're already at that mark. There are other schools like Florida State who already have an out-of-conference rival like Florida, Georgia Tech with Georgia. They probably would be in favor of this because they are already well on their way to meeting that mark. But if they go to 9 games, how does that change it? I don't know what schools are going to land where. But I do have a proposal because there is a couple of other things that matter in this story. The first is, as of right now, the ACC has an odd number of football members. They have 17. You can't play everybody in 9 games with an odd number. You would have to either remove someone or add someone. I think I know who I want that team to be. Now, it's the same as every other conference. They want Notre Dame to join. But I think the ACC has potentially an opportunity here that would be of massive assistance. And that is to have Notre Dame play with all of the benefits of being a member as far as football goes. All of the football benefits of being a member without being obligated to become a member. Why is Notre Dame not in a conference? There is one answer and one answer alone. It is money. Because NBC pays Notre Dame a massive television contract that is exclusively their money. And when they go to the college football playoffs, all of that money, a massive chunk of which in conferences is given to the conference and split up between all the teams, they just get all of it. They just get to keep all of that money. So there's a reason that even though in a year perhaps like this one, where they start 0-2 out of the gate with a pair of ranked teams, access to a conference championship game might be a big boost, might be a big help for Notre Dame this year. So if you're the ACC, make this pitch. Notre Dame, we would like you to play an ACC schedule as if you are a conference member. We would like to place you into our standings as if you are a conference member. You do not need to join. We are just going to treat you like you are one. Kind of like being a guest in your buddy's country club course. I'm not paying the membership dues, but I will come out and play in this tournament and have a chance to win some money. Invite them as a non-member member. Let them be a non-member member. They play an ACC schedule. They count in the standings, and they have access to the ACC Conference Championship game. So if they have a year like this year where they start 0-2 out of the gate, that is still on the horizon for them. Second thing it does, it makes the ACC tougher. It makes it look more like they are out ahead of the Big 12. It makes it look more like they are closer to the Big 10 than they are normally. You say, Notre Dame, you get to keep all your NBC money. You get to keep all your NBC money. You split the money up that you make by going to the playoffs like everybody else. Maybe you give them a sweetheart deal, but you split up playoff money. You can keep your NBC TV contract money, and you get access to the ACC tournament game. In return, you make the conference better or look better by being a part of it. I honestly think that works out well for everybody. And if you want to go to 9 games, you have to have one more team. Maybe this is your ticket to being the conference that figures up how to get Notre Dame to jump on board. That's interesting. All right, we'll talk more about that later. Rashad Baird talks Panther football next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Gamecocks.
All right, guys, stay right there. We're going to get Rashad locked in. We will be right back. What up, big dog?
What's up, fellas?
How we doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. All is well.
I'm glad to hear it.
How you guys doing?
Good, man. Good. Football's back. My life's easy now.
Wait. Did you say your life is?
I said football is back. My
life is. That's not what it sounded like.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Rob. That is not what it sounded.
It sounded like he said, "My wife is easy." That's exactly what you.
As long as it's just for me.
Oh, that's funny.
Now I'm gonna have to go back later and see if that's
You have to
exactly what.
rewind. Pull the tape.
Yeah, I won't use that one, but I just want to know.
Review the film. Flag on the play.
Let's be honest. Even if I did say that, that's not the worst thing I've said on the radio.
Yeah, we still got what, hour and 20 minutes today. You can top that.
You can. Still time.
Plenty of it.
The stream is chiming in. They also heard wife. So
I
Okay.
definitely heard.
Well, like I said, as long as it's just for me, I'm in good shape.
she's out of town. So, he's.
Rashad, I'll Venmo you $5. I will Venmo you $5 if you can tell me what this song's from.
I can't tell you, bro. I can't tell you. I've heard it, but I don't know what it is.
It's from Magnum PI, which was a show way back in the damn day. This was before me. Lonzo won't stop making fun. I'm taking the mustache on a test drive, Rashad. I'm not committed to it yet. Trash it or stash it. I value the opinion of Rashad Beard. Trash it or stash it. You can be honest.
No, I like it. Looks good on you, brother. You look good.
I think he just wants me to embarrass myself in public. Rashad Beard.
Look at him.
I know.
He's laughing.
That's the biggest shrug I've ever seen shrugged. Rashad Beard is the host of the Panther Nation podcast. Joins us every single Friday at 8:40 to talk a little Panther ball. Let's start with the most important question of all. I'm all over the place now. You got me all messed up with the Magnum PI theme. Most important question of all, Rashad. How you doing, buddy? How you hanging in there, pal?
I'm good. Panthers football can show some improvement, but I'm good personally. I'm not going to let them destroy my weeks every week. So I'm good. I'm kind of over it. You know what I mean? We're good.
That's fair. I respect that. All right. Let's start with me being a butthole out of the gate. I wasn't super impressed. I'm glad the team showed a bunch of fight in the come from behind against Arizona to climb back into that thing. You get the onside kick. Everything's going great. Arizona was bringing three. They were dropping back. They were playing prevent. They were pretty much letting you do whatever you wanted to do because they were getting to do pretty much whatever they wanted to do. Glad to see the fight, Rashad, but it doesn't convince me that a corner got turned last week.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think perspective is important. Depends on how you view the team. I think if you're looking for the negative, you can find it. If you're looking for the positive, you can find it. For me, I'm with you, Rob. I'm not impressed. You basically came out and did the same thing you did last week against the Jaguars. You turned the football over early. You had a couple offensive line miscommunications. You had some injuries. You did deal with some injuries. Also, Arizona did deal with some injuries in their secondary too, which probably helped with the comeback as well. But a lot of miscues. We starting games flat. I don't know who to blame, whether it's going to be Canales, whether it's going to be Bryce. I think everybody can take blame for what's going on, but we have to find a better way to start fast. Like we have to start fast, or every game is going to be like this. We're getting rattled early, and then we just don't have the capability to come back. We're not built for it. We did a good job. They tried. I commend them for fighting back, but we just don't have it. We just don't have it.
It is interesting to me that Dave Canales has skyrocketed up the Vegas shortest odds to be the next coach fired. He was, if I recall correctly, he was like 16th or 17th in those odds preseason. He's now sitting at number 4 or 5, depending on what book you look at. And, you got some guys like Mike McDaniel. Obviously, he's going to be at the top of the list, etc. But it blows my mind, Rashad. But what's your reaction to it? Because I looked at it and I thought, all right, you came into the year with some expectations, maybe not lofty, but you're 0-2. It's not a great start. And more importantly, you kind of look like you're still figuring it out. I blamed it on not enough time played together in the preseason with the starters moving all over the place to really develop the season, the preseason chemistry. Where do you land on Canales being top 5 on that list?
I mean, results speak for themselves. I mean, for me personally, I'm not going to say Canales needs to be fired. We need to move on from him at this point. I think we need to let it play out. Maybe he just starts the season slow, and that's just how we are. Maybe we finish strong. We won't even remember the first 2 games. So I don't know, man. But we need to turn this thing around. You know, the rah-rah, and we're getting a little sick of it. You know what I mean? It's the turnover Tuesdays and all these little themed. That's cute, right? But we have to see the results on the field, and it's not connecting. Whether it's the players, whether it's his scheme, whether he has the right players to put a scheme in, which is a whole nother discussion. I don't want to even go there yet, but it's something is not right in the Panthers organization, especially with that offense. I thought defensively, if you want to look at a bright spot, I thought defensively we played well. We stopped the run, held them to under 100 yards. So we talking about Evero, and I see some Evero comments in the chat. I thought we did a good job defensively. You know, I thought they did an excellent job. And shout out to our secondary too. Well, specifically the corners, they're doing a great job. Great cover corners, they're doing very well. But outside of that, man, you know, Canales, I can see it. I mean, he's got to get better for sure.
We're going to come to the defense here in just a minute, but I want to keep with the offense for just a second.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I do want to get there, but I wanted to get your thoughts after week 1. I said on the show, love the guy, entertaining as hell. I got a lot of concern about Xavier Legette. After week 2, my stance, Rashad Beard, was when Jalen Coker comes back, Xavier Legette's getting the axe, not Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, that is the sentiment around Panther Nation, is that when Coker returns, which is hopefully after week 4, then XL is going to slide to, you know, wherever to the bench, and Coker takes on number 2 outside, which is what they've been training for him to do. They've been trying, because last year he played in the slot a lot, and this year I think they're trying to get him on the outside more. And you saw that in the preseason when he came in when XL got ejected, and Coker did a fantastic job replacing him. So we already know what Coker is capable of. But yeah, the 8 targets, negative yards, that's historic. I think he's like the first wide receiver to do such a feat. And it's not a good thing. I think he's in his head. I saw his locker room interview, and I felt bad for the kid, man. I think we like him. Like, we really, really want XL to be great. And so this is not me saying, oh, he's a terrible person. Because that's not the case. We really like XL. We want him to be successful. But at the end of the day, results speak for themselves, and you got to translate. It's got to translate to the field. All the coon talk and all the Kentucky Derby, that's great. But you gotta get it to the field, and it's not translating. So we gotta do better there.
No, I agree. That's where I'm at. I want the guy to be successful as both a dude and as a member of #team content. Like, I want XL around forever, but at the end of the day, I would take 22 of the most boring, lame, vanilla dudes in the world if they go win a Super Bowl over 22 of the most electrifying entertainers in the game if they can't. Talk to me about the defense, because 2 weeks ago it was a lot of, and I asked you the question, I don't think you have the personnel to run a 3-4. Do we see that shift up? Can Evero change the system? Whatever. There was a lot of heat on him, I thought, after week 1. And here comes Rashad Beard after week 2 saying, not as bad as maybe we thought it was. Overall 36,000-foot view of the defense.
Yeah, I thought the defense did well, considering the circumstances. You know, Princely got his first sack, which was great to see. We lack a pass rush, so it was good to see our rookie in limited snaps too. I don't think he played but like 13 snaps, so he was effective when he was on the field. So it's good to see him get some pressure. DJ Wanham had a great interception. He continues to do well. Our run defense, like I said earlier, bounced back. They gave up 200 against Jacksonville and only gave up 82 against Arizona. So I think he did a good job. Now, I still think we lack some talent in the linebacker room, so we're always going to have that issue. It's not going to be fixed overnight. Unfortunately, we're kind of left with the guys we have throughout the season. So either they're going to improve or we're going to continue to be garbage at the linebacker role. But both of our guys, Roseboom and Wallace, they have to get better. It's not pretty on the interior for that linebacker room, but everything else, man, I like it. Again, the corner play is excellent. I think we're doing a good job. And I think, again, coming into the season, all I asked was for the defense to be mid, and that's what they are. They're a mid defense, and I felt like the defense did enough to win that game. They got the ball back when you needed it. You know, seven of the points came from Bryce Young's turnover, right? So I felt like the defense did a great job. They weren't perfect by any means. Please, I'm never going to say that, because they still lack some talent, but they did a great job considering the circumstances.
We kind of knew, though, coming into this year that if this team was going to be successful, however you define success, be above 500, win the division, be a wild card team, whatever. We kind of knew coming into the year, didn't we, that if they got there, it was going to be behind a good offense and a good enough defense. So like I'm good with where you're at there. Yes, we'd all like to be better, but I'm good with where you're at. Just waiting for the offensive turnaround. Dude, I don't have an answer for it right now, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, it is frustrating, and we have a tough matchup coming up against Atlanta. That offense their offense and defense are solid. We're down 2 offensive linemen, Robert Hunt and Austin Corbett, go to IR. Robert Hunt is the bigger loss of the two. I do feel confident enough in Cade Mays as Corbett went down last year. Cade Mays stepped right in, did an excellent job. So I think we're going to be good at the center role, but that guard position, putting Chandler Zavala in there, he's going to have to step up. Now, he did have a better season last year than his rookie season when he got the opportunities to play. But he's going to have to really step up because the Falcons' defense has improved. They got a good pass rush. They got a good young core, too. So that's going to be a solid matchup for Bryce Young and company. They're going to have to be better. And they're just going to have to start. If you just protect the football, man, Bryce has to protect the football. And again, we had this big debate on our show on Tuesday on who's to blame and whatever. But it ultimately boils down to Bryce. He has to hold on to the football. I mean, you're gonna get sacked, but you can't fumble and cause and have those fumbles turn into points. So you have to do better. You got to hold on to the football, protect the football, take the sack, live to fight another day. And I think the game could have been different against Arizona, and he's gonna have to do that against Atlanta.
Talk to me about the matchup with Atlanta. We all know what Pajana Robinson is capable of doing out of the backfield and as a pass catcher. That is, I think, for a team where the biggest question is linebacker coverage to the outside, terrifying. Yeah. We have seen Michael Penix Jr. kind of start week by week, maybe not at the pace Atlanta would like, but he's starting to look and feel more comfortable in and outside of the pocket. Unless this is the game where that offense clicks, Rashad Beard, this one feels like it could be a long Sunday afternoon for Carolina.
Yeah, and I packed my bags for it too. I think it's gonna be a long one. It's the home opener too, which is the bad part. They're gonna look good in the all blacks, or at least the black helmet. I'm not sure what the jersey combination is gonna be.
Black helmet, blue uni, white pants, I think is what I saw.
Oh, that's white pants.
Let me make sure. It may be black pants, but I thought I saw
black pants.
Black over blue over white.
They're gonna look good. And it's gonna be unfortunate if things go south. I do feel like the fans are going to make a statement. If things look ugly, you may hear the boo birds out on Sunday. So, I certainly hope that they come prepared. We were excited coming into the season, and it's been a major letdown. I think Atlanta's going to be a tough matchup. They may not look at it like it, but Atlanta's our biggest rival, right? Atlanta at the I-85 South rivalry. We look at them. We don't like the Falcons. You know what I mean? So we want a W here. We need a W here. This is a must-win game because after this it gets tough. Well, you got the Patriots, then Miami, and after that it goes downhill from there. So we have got to build some momentum starting against the Falcons. Like you said, Bijan out of the backfield, catching out the backfield is terrifying. Matter of fact, I may not sleep tonight dreaming about that because we don't have the linebackers to cover it. And it's going to be scary. I just hope the defense can do enough and Bryce Young will protect the football. If Bryce Young doesn't have any turnovers and our receivers catch the football, it sounds so basic, right? But I think it'll be a good day for us. I think it's a winnable game. Atlanta isn't unbeatable. Like, it's a winnable game. We just have to go out there and execute at the end of the day.
Is it frustrating to you that the take on a lot of these games recently have just been like, do the football stuff right? Like, just do the football stuff, man. You've got to just do the football stuff.
Yeah, extremely frustrating. And that's where you turn to Canales and you're like, man, what are you doing? Like, as a coach, what are you doing with these guys? Because he keeps talking about it too in his interviews, basics and fundamentals. Like, this isn't high school, ladies and gentlemen. Why are we talking about how to tackle in a press conference? Why are we talking about catching the football? Why are we talking about very, very basic X's and O's? This is the NFL. Like, what are we doing? So I feel like, man, we have to do better. I think we're capable of it, and we keep talking about what we're capable of. Canales keeps talking about, man, I like this team. I like what we're capable of. You got to show me. I'm not from Missouri, but you got to show me. We need to see it.
What a reference from Rashad Beard. The Panther Nation podcast. You can find them on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, get to the YouTube channel, get subscribed, get liked up. The boys are live all the time. If they get dropped by Atlanta on Sunday, it's gonna be a long night for Rashad Beard.
It is. It's gonna be. It might be some fireworks on PNP after the game. So come check it out.
Oh, bank it. I'll be there. My man, appreciate you, big dog. Talk to you next week, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
You know it. Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joins us every Friday at 8 o'clock to talk Panther football. Stick around when we come back here in just a moment from now. We're going to be joined by the fellas from the Moving the Chains podcast. We'll set you up for the high school football weekend. We will make our college and NFL picks and predictions in the final hour of the show on the Friday Football Fiesta. Sports Flash.
How's it going, Joe? The Buffalo Bills remain undefeated after a 31-21 win over the Dolphins last night. Josh Allen finished 22 of 28 for 213 yards and 3 touchdown passes. And James Cook rushed for 108 yards and a touchdown on 19 carries. South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers has been upgraded to probable for this weekend's matchup against Missouri. Reports out of Columbia are that Sellers has participated in practice, though his level of involvement hasn't been revealed. Clemson wide receiver Antonio Williams is listed as probable for this Saturday's matchup against Syracuse. Williams injured his hamstring in the week of one matchup against LSU and has been unavailable since. Starting left tackle Tristan Lay and safety Khalil Barnes are also listed as probable. Hour number 4 of the Rob Brown Show coming up next. All right, it's going to sound like an excuse, but yeah, I got hit by some serious pain right there. No, I'm not. I am having some kidney problems, and I took a groin shot by a hobnailed boot from a angry dwarf there, like twice in a row. My bad. And then I laughed afterwards because it happened in the same story this time, and I was nailing it up to that point. That's a good one, James. Hopefully the background of that bumper sticker was a clear sky with chemtrails on it. That would be even better. Zach, been making fun of him ever since I walked in the door because, you know. Thank you, Michael. Me too. Getting old sucks. And managing to find different ailments along the way. But I prefer to still be alive. I can, handle pain. But hobnail booted dwarves in the middle of a read, that's not good. I've been playing the theme all morning, Keegan, and Rob's trying to play it off like when he asked Rashad, do you know what that theme is? Like that matters. Other people know what it is. I know what it is. He knows what it is.
So you're back in your chair?
I am back in my chair. And Rob stole your shirt.
It looks good on him.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Teller looking.
We're good.
He looks like Rooster from Maverick.
Yeah, but I've been playing the Magnum PI theme all morning.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
I also told him that
Tom Selleck had a bigger mustache.
he did.
He's got a bigger lip.
We need a side by side with him and Weird Al. That's what we need. Because I've showed him the pictures, or Daniel Radcliffe playing Weird Al. It looks very similar. If he got a wig going with what he's wearing right now, Halloween's taken care of. Yeah. We're just all in here making fun.
The costume's officially decided. I just put on a Detroit Tigers hat and I'm done.
Or a Weird Al wig. I'm telling you.
Oh no, you think I'm passing on the chance to be Magnum PI for a night? Get out of here. Of course I am.
Get out of here.
Sure will.
Get out.
I didn't mean it literally, Chris. But I appreciate your commitment to the bit.
Yeah, it was more of a which I completely appreciate. I love this chair more, except on Saturdays.
More like Dale from Rescue Rangers.
No. Oh, that's great. That is awesome.
That is good.
Unbelievable. And that's supposed to be my friend. Kevin, I'll Venmo you $3 if you tell me what this is the theme song to.
I'm gonna guess Magnum PI.
$3 incoming. Kevin Thomas from the Moving the Chains pod.
He was in the chat. Wow.
Oh, that's true. Never mind. You don't get $3.
See,
the Magnum PI jokes have been nonstop.
This is where he's trying to look cool. Oh, no one knows this theme. When the rest of the chat, they absolutely know this theme.
I mean, Rob's just trying to dress nice for one time, and you guys are just giving him a hard time. I don't understand. Like, I don't know what you want from this guy.
Come on, it's sports radio. You don't need to dress up.
Trash it or stash it, Kev. Where are we at on this? Be honest. You won't hurt my feelings.
He's not going to be honest. He's going to tell you.
No. I don't. I don't think it's a permanent look for you, Rob. But for like a couple weeks, a month, like you know what? Okay. Let's rock it.
Or just until someone gets back from vacation.
Just until the wife gets home on Friday. That is more than fair. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk some high school football because we got Friday night lights all around the upstate. Plenty of games to get to. Where's your boys, Kev? Where's your boys? You ditched them last week and they said turnabout's fair play. You're on your own?
I guess work. I don't know, man. Just, I'm
he didn't say they were playing golf. He didn't say that. He didn't say they're out on the golf course together.
Yeah, they could be. Which is, by the way, I was not playing golf last time. I don't know where that came from.
The boys were putting you out on it, pal.
That checks out.
I like it. A little team camaraderie. By the way, look at the new setup in the background from Kev. Almost looks like a sports broadcaster here for a minute.
Man, these teams have been hooking us up all kinds of helmets and hats. Like, I need more shelving. So we got to get that figured out.
I do. Listen, I'm just glad you ditched the paintings and chandelier in the background, man.
Hey,
that was a vibe for a minute.
You got to level up sometimes. You got to level up.
Respect it.
So you trying to turn this back on him? It's not going to work. We all still see that mustache.
I'm not committed. I'm not uncommitted. I'm just not committed to it yet. We'll see where it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Thomas from the Moving the Chains pod. Maybe one of the other boys will show up. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. Kev's got us covered on everything happening high school football around the upstate, brother. Let's jump right in. And obviously the game that if you tune in this evening, you will hear the legendary, the illustrious Cole Bryson on the call as the Burns Rebels back at the crib this evening, this time hosting the Wade Hampton Generals. I know the last time we chatted, Kev, there were some injuries that kind of impacted the lineup for Wade Hampton the last couple of games. Where are we at health-wise with the Generals, and what are we looking at with this one at Nixon?
The Generals they're getting healthy. They had, I think, a bye week last week, but I mean, really, Rob, this is going to be all about Burns tonight. They had a bye week as well, kind of a get right week for them. They bounced back nicely 2 weeks ago with a nice win over Greer after the tough loss to Irmo the previous week. This is a team I think that is poised to make a deep run here, especially when we get into region play starting this week. A lot of guys who have played a lot of football for them, and the key to them is, like I said, just staying healthy. Tonight, they should just handle business. It shouldn't be really close. Like, no offense to Wade Hampton, they're just a younger bunch right now. They're not really cut out to compete with some of these big boys in 5A. So it's going to be a tough night for them, but I think the Rebels roll tonight.
All right, let's go to a couple of other ones. Greenwood is at TL Hanna this evening.
One of the better matchups in the state. Two really fun teams here. Greenwood, led by quarterback Tristan Lewis. He's a South Carolina commit, going to play DB for them. But he's playing playing quarterback right now for the Eagles. He went 287 and a touchdown passing and 100 yards rushing and another touchdown there on the ground last week. A lot of guys out wide. Jay Duncan, Desiree Christian playing big for them. This is a team that a couple years ago, Rob, where they were really run heavy. Like, they wanted to do kind of some option stuff, some wing T stuff. But now as Lewis has grown up, his 30 years as a starter, they've really become more of an air and out kind of air raid team. Really fun to watch the progression there for Coach Liner's bunch. TL Hanna, though, they are a running team, and they will be probably forever as long as Coach Tone is there. Kind of a running back by committee. Amari Nance had 4 touchdowns last week. Elijah Grimes, Thomas Williams, and whatnot. They're a team that wants to, get a lead, grind it out on you, kind of milk the clock. But interesting stat, though, TL Hanna, a team that, is so focused on not coming from behind and having that early lead, has not scored a point yet in the first quarter through 3 games. And that's a big thing there for that type of offense. I think Greenwood, too many athletes on the road. I think Tristan Lewis has a big game. I think they win this football game.
Boiling Springs taking a roadie over to the reservation to take on the Gaffney Indians.
A game last year that was in overtime, an overtime win from the Indians. I don't think it'll be that close this year. Gaffney has had some turmoil the last week or so. Had a quarterback transfer out. They had a quarterback battle before that. Hopefully the bye week and kind of having some of those things figured out helps them settle down. Banks Boughton will be the QB now. He'll take over for them. They've got tons of athletes, as always, especially on defense. Love Zion Ratchford. He's a huge piece in the middle of that defense for them, for Coach Littlejohn. Boiling Springs, they've got some young pieces. I like Dennis Glenn a lot up front. I like Jeremiah Favorite, the Michigan State commit. But I think Gaffney, just kind of going through what they've been through, kind of hopefully brings them together as a team here, really, having some of those distractions out of the way. I think they rally around Coach Littlejohn. I think they get a win tonight at the reservation.
Let's go to Hillcrest at Malden.
This is a fun rivalry game. The Golden Strip Derby, as it's called. Hillcrest has won 12 in a row to take a 36-34 all-time lead in the series. So there's been a lot of the Rams lately heading that way. But two teams that are 2-1. Not sure if folks expected that coming into this week of play here, but they've got a bunch of young pieces. Coach Cook at Malden has done a great job turning that program around. Coach Swaggart at Hillcrest has done a fantastic job there. I like that quarterback Jackson Free a lot. He's a young guy that plays really well for them. I think this will be a fun matchup. I'm not sure which way I'm leaning here, but should be two up-and-coming teams getting at it here in a rivalry game to start off the region play.
Is that maybe the game to go check out tonight if you're looking for a little high school football?
I think it's a good one. It's kind of under the radar because just folks, like I said, neither one of these teams are in the rankings right now. They're neither one's top 10, but two teams that obviously don't like each other, as being rivals there. Two teams that have some pretty good playmakers too that I think will be fun to see.
All right, Riverside at Dorman.
Riverside is a team that I cannot figure out. I was really high on them early on, going into the season. 2 weeks ago, they get smoked by Greenville, get beat by Christ Church the week after that on a walk-off field goal. Have not played well offensively like I thought they would. They've got some really good players, Gideon Merib and Speedy Taylor and Samad Edie, but Dorman has just looked really good. Their one loss is to Greenwood, but they run the ball well with Nick Means. New quarterback Meek Slidell has played well for Coach Morse's bunch. I think Dorman, too much run game at home. I think the Cavs win it.
Spartanburg is traveling to East Side.
Spartanburg started off a little bit rough, but they played some big boys, played Northwestern, played Dutch Fork, took a couple losses. They had some injuries as well early on. They're kind of getting healthy now for Coach Hodge. East Side's an intriguing bunch to me, Rob. They're undefeated, haven't played the toughest schedule yet. They're one of the teams that in this, Region 2 5A kind of gets overlooked, I feel like, a lot of times. You think about the big boys with Burns and Gaffney and Dorman and Spartanburg, but they're one of these teams that wants to make their mark. Coach Wilcock does a great job over there. I don't know if they have quite enough firepower to win this football game. I think Spartanburg probably a little bit deeper, but East Side's a team to keep an eye on. Should be a fun game.
Let's keep the party rolling. Kevin Thomas from the Moving the Chains pod here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate, getting you set up for some local Friday night lights, high school football. Christ Church at Chapman.
Chapman Chapman is glad to play a 3A team again. Let's put it that way. They started off with a really tough non-region schedule, have not won a football game yet, but they're getting better and better. They kind of changed their offense before a couple weeks ago. They took Clinton into overtime, played well in that football game. They're a team that I was kind of high on coming into the season. I'd heard they'd gotten a lot better, had a bunch of young guys last year. The record hasn't shown it yet because they played some big boys, but I think they are getting better. Christchurch, a team that is led by guys like Jude Hall and Ed Atkins and Michael Martin. Tons of really good athletes there for Coach Hatfield's bunch. I think they're a contender in 3A this year. I think they're a little bit deeper, a little better than Chapman right now. But that'll be a fun game. I think we could see a lot of points in that matchup.
Chesney at Woodruff.
Chesney's a team in 2A that I really like a lot. I don't think they're quite deep enough to compete with Woodruff, a bigger 3A bunch. Woodruff led by Aiden Gibson and Connor Davis, the quarterback's getting better and better each and every week. I think Woodruff wins this football game, but I like both those teams to make some runs here in region play.
Love to hear it. And let's wrap it up with St. Joseph's at Fountain Inn.
Fountain Inn is another fun team that can put up points, man. Sam Holiday each week is doing 250 plus through the air, another 75 plus on the ground, 4 or 5 touchdowns. He's getting it done, dual threat there for the Fury. I like that bunch. I think Coach Nichols has him heading the right direction. I like them tonight in that matchup.
All right, what's the game Kevin Thomas is going to be at tonight?
So we're looking either Greenwood, TL Hanna, or Hillcrest Malden. We're still kind of up in the air right now. Going to make some calls, figure out where I want to go to, but one of those two here in the upstate.
I like it. All right. Got a minute or two left here.
Yeah.
And I did that on purpose, Kev, because I wanted to get your thoughts. Sup with those Clemson Tigers, buddy. What do we got this weekend? You got Cuse. You're favored by a couple of tutties in this one. The take I had earlier was if you guys don't cover against Syracuse. I like Fran Brown. I like the trajectory of the Orange. With Antonio Williams, with Khalil Barnes back, getting your guys healthy, getting your full starting offensive line back. If you guys don't cover up the Cuse, Monday's going to be a rough day on the show.
I agree. I mean, I'm not going to touch the game, honestly, with my picks there. But I'll tell you, I kind of thought the same thing last week, Rob. I was like, after a tough loss to LSU, you look bad against Troy, Georgia Tech, an up-and-coming team. This is the game that you're going to come out and hammer them. And obviously that didn't happen. So I'm a little bit worried. It feels like, I don't know what it is. Like we've got good players. I like the coaching staff, but something is not meshing well right now. And I love that Antonio Williams is back. I love Khalil Barnes is back. And I want to get your thoughts on this, Rob. They keep talking about Antonio Williams like, he's such a huge piece. Like the guy's not prime Randy Moss. Like, I know he is a good player, but they're putting a lot of expectations on him to obviously just fix this offense all of a sudden, and that does worry me a little bit. Like I said, I wouldn't bet on the game. I don't trust the offense right now, or the defense for part of the time. But it's gonna be a tough one, man. Gonna be a tough one.
So it got brought up earlier in the show, and I'll bring it up to you here just because you bring up Antonio. And I said the same thing. Like, I don't think anybody's looking at Antonio Williams and labeling him best wide receiver in college football right now. But the numbers when he is available and when he's not are pretty stark. With Antonio Williams, Klubnik, 47 tutties to 12 picks across 21 games, averaging 34.2 points, 263 passing yards per game. Without him, 7-4 across 11 games, 12 touchdowns to 8 picks, 10 fewer points per game, and barely averaging 200 passing yards. You're dropping over 60 passing yards. You are dropping your tutty to pick ratio from 4.5 to 1 down to 1.2 to 1. I mean, even if he's not that guy, his impact on the offense is empirically important. Having him back is the reason I've said, like, if he is that critical of a piece, and the numbers say that he is, and you don't want to take advantage of that and run Syracuse out of Clemson with like a 40-point loss, I think all of those things that had Dabo frustrated at that presser earlier this week, I don't think he can push back on those. I think it's okay for Clemson fans at that point to go, whoa, something's wrong.
No, I agree completely. I mean, he had a spirited press conference on Tuesday. I guess some folks loved it, some folks didn't like it.
Look who's learning the radio terms. I like it.
It's one of those things. But yeah, with Antonio, and you think it's almost got to be more of a mental thing, really, for anything for K, because I mean, we've got other good receivers. Tyler Brown steps in and plays well. I mean, and you've seen the highlights, Rob. You've seen the cut ups. Like there were plenty of open receivers against LSU that he didn't hit. Plenty of open guys against Georgia Tech he didn't hit. Same thing with Troy. it wasn't that we don't have guys in the right spot. It must just be a mental thing for him with Antonio out there. He just, I guess, feels more confident where he's going, knows where he's looking, and just kind of reacts a little better with zero on the field with him.
I get it, right? Like this is the discussion I had when Carolina traded Adam Thielen back to Minnesota. I'm like, I get it. You get a couple of picks. Those are helpful with a young team. Great. He always felt like the security blanket for Bryce Young. Like when he was available and he was out there, he felt like he was more loose. And I said, listen, I think Hunter Renfrow is as close to Adam Thielen as you are going to get. Great pickup to bring him back. But it might take BY a little while to find out where that comfort level is without the guy. I wonder if that is the same thing here. Or, and this is the last one, and I'll let you go, Kev, do we have to maybe acknowledge that, like, maybe this is just who Cade Klubnik is? Maybe it's just a miss. Maybe we got misled by inflating the numbers last year against some bad teams. We all got tricked into it. Maybe he's just at his ceiling, or the coaches didn't develop him like we had hoped they would.
I agree. And I mean, I don't want to down any kid, obviously.
Sure.
But I'll say that I have never been the biggest fan of Cade. Like even last year, putting up the big numbers, it felt like it was against bad teams a lot of times. Sometimes it was just throws that just happened to work out that actually weren't the best decisions really either. And you just look at it, like you go back 2 years ago to when he was a younger kid as a sophomore, as a freshman playing, like he made tons of bad mistakes. It just happened to have some big numbers in small games last year. So I'm worried that this might just kind of be who he is. I never really saw the top 5 draft pick type hype. I didn't get that. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I hope he's great. But I mean, if he comes out and lays another egg this week, I mean, you may have to take a look at, you know, what Vizina's got or what you can do kind of behind him, because it's isn't acceptable with the way he's playing right now.
Fair enough. I do not disagree with any of that. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Thomas showing up and carrying it solo. Who the hell needs John Epps, right? Like, come on.
You said it, not me, Rob. I don't know.
Kevin Thomas.
You notice you didn't say that about.
No, I would never say that about Jarrell.
Jarrell.
I would never say that about Jarrell. I like.
We all need Jarrell. Come on.
We all need more Jarrell in our lives. The Moving the Chains podcast available at movingchains.com. You can also follow them across all the social media at Moving Chains. No G. Most importantly, the podcast available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever great audio is to be found. My guy, enjoy the football tonight. Enjoy the football this weekend. If Clemson loses and you need an emotional support buddy, holler at me.
I will do it. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Good man. Kevin Thomas, Moving the Chains. Again, follow them on the social at Moving Chains. Appreciate them every Friday, as always. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Nice job, man. You almost sound like you know what you're doing. Oh, he took his headphones off. He doesn't know what he's doing. Incredible timing.
Way to go,
Incredible
Keegan.
timing.
Good job. Now Rob's like, what?
No, I saw you guys just having your old secret conversations on Twitter. I get it. Wasn't secret. Oh, man. With friends like these. Stay right there, guys. Be right back. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the Great Malonzo, and you racing towards the football weekend. Let's run one more time through some of our biggest college football games of the weekend. Make a couple of predictions. Let's start, obviously, with the two that y'all will be most interested in. That, of course, the South Carolina Gamecocks on the road at the Mizzou Tigers and the Clemson Tigers at home hosting the Syracuse Orange.
Are we picking?
Yeah, we're picking. Let's pick some games here. Let's pick some top 10 matchups. Let's pick some Tigers and Gamecock matchups. So let's start with those two. Let's start with the game that comes first in the day. Clemson minus 16.5 at the Crib, hosting the Syracuse Orange. Cover or no cover in this one?
I'm gonna say Clemson wins this game, but they do not cover.
Do not cover.
No.
What's the conversation on Monday if it's a uncomfortably close game?
That they're getting closer. That they're fixing the wrongs. Not quite there yet. Enough to get the victory, and they're going to progress towards the end goal of the season.
I think let's say for the sake of conversation, let's come up with a couple of different results. If Clemson covers, they win by 21. Cool. All right, they're fine. Maybe they just needed one of those games, right? You thought it was going to be Troy. Maybe that was a bit of a wedge game, bit of a trap game. You had LSU in week 1, Troy in the middle, but you were maybe turned your attention to Georgia Tech because that's a good team. Granted, if you get caught in a trap game, you better come out, you better win the game that made it a trap game. They didn't do that. So what if Clemson wins this game against Syracuse the way that Georgia Tech won the game against Clemson? Syracuse is not as good as Georgia Tech. I like Fran Brown a lot. I don't think that they have the coaching that Georgia Tech has right now. I certainly know they don't have the Haynes Kinging that Georgia Tech had against Clemson this past weekend. That's a special dude I tried to tell y'all about all off season long. If Clemson wins this game, but it's on like a walk-off field goal, I think the vibes are going to be very similar to if they just lose the game outright. I think the conversation is tough.
No, I mean, yeah, it will be tough conversation, but it won't be the same as a loss.
I think the expectation in this game has to be blowout win. Not win. It has to be blowout win. I think anything less than a blow. I think a close game. I think a one-score game. And I think the conversation is very awkward Monday.
As far as that goes, if you still have expectations of making the playoff, that's out the window. You've got to win the ACC championship. So it ain't going to matter about margin of victory. It's going to be a matter of did we win or not.
I don't disagree.
They need to win out or at least win all their ACC games and then win the ACC championship.
I don't disagree with that at all. But I also, as much as the only season that matters is this season, I also am thinking long-term. I'm thinking long-term of the program. And the thought's going to be for me, because I've said how many times, the philosophy for me in college football is if you are not moving ahead, you are falling behind. If you are not getting better, other teams are, and they will catch and surpass you. I'm worried you are falling progressively further into the territory of Georgia Tech is on the way up. Florida State is on the way up. Miami is working to stake their ground. Louisville is on the way up. There are some teams that are on the way up right now, and I don't think you have the distance between them and you that you thought you did in years gone by. In every game that you have a fist fight with a Syracuse, Clemson becomes a less attractive destination in years to come.
Well, you have a built-in excuse for next year because you're going to have a new starting quarterback. So you're going to get a little more leeway from the fans, or you should, because you got a new guy in there. In years past, when Clemson was really on top, those guys got playing time because there was garbage time at the end of the games. And that was one of the advantages that Clemson had, is they were able to get a lot of playing time for guys that were the future of the program, and they haven't been able to do that lately.
Not unfair. All right, let's flip it over. Let's talk about the other one for just a few minutes. South Carolina on the road at Mizzou. If you missed it, LaNorris Sellers upgraded to probable for Saturday. However, even with that announcement, Missouri still favored by 9.5 9.5. You credit them for the 3 you get by playing at the crib. Vegas saying they believe the Missouri Tigers are a touchdown better than the South Carolina Gamecocks. Mizzou so far in the season 3-0, wins over Central Arkansas. They do have a rock chalk Jayhawk win over Kansas and knocked off the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. They put up 61, 42, and 54 in 3 games so far. This is their Southeastern Conference debut as well. The Gamecocks on the road, dogs by 9.5. So I'll go first on this one. I don't know what to pick. And I'll tell you why. I can pick with what I would like to see happen, which is the Gamecocks come out, they show some fight. I would probably pick Mizzou with the win, but South Carolina with the cover. This Missouri team is I thought this was going to be a step back year for Mizzou. They are putting points on the board like you would expect a good team to. I would like to see South Carolina come out, be angry about last week, put up a fight, show that there's a little dog in them. On the flip side, all I can go with is what I've seen on tape. I saw in week 1, South Carolina struggle to really get going against a Virginia Tech team that would 2 weeks later lose to Old Dominion. I saw in week 2 a South Carolina team, and we can have all the reasons that we won, including what did it turn out be a 2+ hour rain delay. Of course, that's going to impact stuff. Took a while in a special team spark to get going against SC State. And I saw a team last week that when LaNorris Sellers went down, lost the grit, the mojo, the moxie of that team. The problem with wanting to see South Carolina come out and put some heart on the field and just punch and punch and punch and keep themselves alive, great one, is that we've really seen that just a little bit at the end of the Virginia Tech game. In the second half of a game against SC State, and then we saw it go all the way the opposite direction this past weekend against Vanderbilt. Unfortunately, on tape, I haven't seen enough to believe that what we've seen is good enough to beat Mizzou. Give me the Tigers and a cover of -9.5. I hope I'm wrong. Give me the Tigers to cover.
So you're picking South Carolina to lose and
lose by 10 or more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm picking them to lose by 10 or more. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. But yes, give me the Gamecocks to lose by 10 or more on the road at Mizzou. That's a damn good offense.
I believe LaNorris is all the hype. I think he was having a little bit of a bad game and would have came back if he hadn't got dinged up last week. And I think they would have had a shot at winning that game. I think there's a bad taste in the Gamecocks' mouth for losing to Vanderbilt the way they did. They got their butts handed to them. I think they're going to come out strong, and I think they win.
So you believe in the fight?
I do.
I do not. That's where that one's going to end up at. So with those 2 games, we've got Clemson. I will take the cover because I think they have to. You said win but not cover.
Right.
16.5. With South Carolina, Mizzou, South Carolina to win outright or just cover?
Well, if they win outright,
no, they're 9.5-point underdogs.
Right.
If they win by 7, that's I see what you're saying.
So if they win,
they can cover and not lose. So are you taking them for the outright win or just the cover?
The outright win.
The outright win for the Gamecocks. I'm going the other way. I'm going Missouri to cover 9.5 against South Carolina. All right, some of the other games going on this weekend. Texas Tech on the road at Utah. The Utes are -3.5. I've already called this one. Give me the money line upset with the Red Raiders going on the road and getting the win over the Utah Utes.
Yeah, the team who paid the most money to win. So, I mean, they've got to win because that's been the storyline. If you pay a lot of money, you're going to win the college football championship.
I think the storyline is if you pay a bunch of money, it helps you win the college football championship.
That's not what I'm hearing. I hear bought championships. So of course they're going to win.
Well, I think you're sensitive to the argument because your team's towards the top of that pile.
Okay, not the top though.
Towards the top of that pile.
At least 3 could have dropped by now. Who knows?
Correct. I don't think anybody says you will win it. I think they say and for the record,
that's not what
it is easier to win it because every team that was in the hunt last year in the quarters and the semis was inside that top 10 money spending team. That's not wrong.
That's true.
That you still got to put together a good team and you still got to coach it and you still got to execute it.
We agree.
I just think the Red Raiders are a better football team at the end of the day.
So do I.
Big upset of the weekend. Give me the Wofford Terriers on the road over the Hokies of Virginia Tech. Go finish that program, man. By the way, real quick, just to address this, because I saw this yesterday, Vegas odds on Virginia Tech's next head coach, Shane Beamer, is like fourth shortest odds. Michael Vick is first in line to be the head coach at Virginia Tech. I'm going to keep it a buck. Shane Beamer's not going to Virginia Tech. All right. If I thought he was because of the emotional attachment, I'd be happy to be the first guy to go. You might want to get on the horn with Shano and convince him to stay. If I'm Virginia Tech, I'm pulling the trigger on Michael Vick. You know what I'm doing? I'm doing the Deion Sanders thing.
Yeah, but I don't think they're losing this week. It doesn't mean that job won't be available.
Oh, that job is available.
Yeah.
The question is, how desperate do they get? We'll see. Give me the Terriers on the road for the outright upset. That's a straight up for real pick too.
Pandering.
That's a for real. No, it's not. That's a. How many? 5 years I've been here. How many times have I picked Wofford to go on the road and win a power game when they've gotten a paycheck game? Literally zero.
We don't generally pick Wofford.
Today
games,
is one.
Okay.
Right, but if I bring it up, if I'm going to make that pick.
All right.
That's a genuine pick.
All right. Don't get angry with me.
SMU on the road at TCU. This one's
Your
at
mustache
noon.
is quivering.
I'm so mad at you right now. TCU 6.5 point favorite over the SMU Mustangs in this one. I would very much like to see SMU get back in this. I would very much like to see a bounce back after that tough loss to Baylor. This TCU team is, however, a pretty solid Horny Frogs team. Give me TCU to win and cover. That being said, they haven't really beat anybody impressive. They did get the round one win where they drummed North Carolina, but we all know what was going on at that point. They beat Abilene Christian. They are only 2-0. I still think it's a pretty good team. Give me the Horny Frogs.
Give me SMU.
All right, we'll find out. TCU 6.5 point favorites.
That's not really that much.
It's not a big number. You're not wrong. Auburn at Oklahoma, the Boomer Sooners 7.5 point favorites. I bought in, I'm staying in, and Keegan made a bad joke about me looking like Dale from the Rescue Rangers. Give me Oklahoma to beat Auburn by 50.
I am going to go with Auburn just in solidarity because we not always are there solidarity-wise with Keegan. Go Auburn.
Boomer. Michigan's at Nebraska. Michigan minus 1.5 point favorites. Moneyline upset outright. Matt Rule and the Huskers. I'm back to drinking the Rule-Aid. Nebraska wins this game at the crib over the Wolverines. Tough one for you to pick.
Yeah, I can't go with you there. I can't. I'm Michigan wins. It hurts, but yeah.
Clip it, pull it. And Keegan turns around and ruins it immediately. All right. Let's see. Keegan also said, I hope you lose your house, Rob.
It's kind of harsh.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. I respect it. I do. I just said I hope his team loses by 50. I get it. I understand it. We've got there's not a ton of other sexy games. Florida's at Miami. Miami 9.5 point favorites. I'm going to hot take this one. Not to win. Give me Florida to cover. It's a damn good defense. And I can't imagine DJ Lagway's throwing 5 picks. Give me Florida. Miami wins. Florida covers 9.5.
No way. I mean, Miami wins. But,
yeah.
And they win by a lot.
They win by 10 plus?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This is a good rivalry game. It is in Coral Gables. Illinois is at Indiana. The Hoosiers favored by 6.5 over the number 9 Illini. I already picked this one on BetMGM tonight. I'll do it again here. Give me the Hoosiers with an exceptional run game behind Fernando Mendoza. Give me the Hoosiers to win and cover 9.5 or 6.5 over Illinois.
Yeah, I don't really care because these are also runs.
One of these teams,
yeah,
one of these teams could eat up a Big Ten title spot.
I'm going to go with Indiana.
One of these teams could eat up a Big Ten title spot. All right, there's your college games. When we come back, we pick our NFL weekend, and we wrap this bad boy up on a Friday football fiesta. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It's the Fan of Upstate. Boomer!
By the way, I knew your intent, Keegan. I don't know what he was talking about.
I was just reacting. I don't know why I thought either. Whatever. I have to go cool off after another thought about the Dale joke. Wrapping up the Friday Football Fiesta edition of the Rob Brown Show here on the Fan Upstate. We've given you the college picks for the weekend. Let's take a look at the NFL slate. We started last night with a 31-21 victory for the Buffalo Bills over the Miami Dolphins in the AFC East. Let's get to Sunday's matchups. We open in Cleveland, Ohio, with the Green Bay Packers take a roadie down to meet the Browns. The Pack favored by 7.5 in this road trip. Lonzo, throw the rest of my year's salary on Green Bay to win this game by 2 touchdowns. This Green Bay team is terrifying, and they're not even playing their best offense yet. They don't even have their number one receiver available. Cleveland's Cleveland. I have zero idea how this line isn't at 10.5.
Well, the reason why it's lower is because Cleveland's defense is pretty good. So it's the one positive, if you were a Cleveland fan, that you could say, yeah, but our defense is all right. So, yeah. And I think it's saying a lot. The Vegas is saying that when Green Bay is on such a roll and scoring a lot of points.
I mean, on a
Green Bay is going to win.
Cover 7.5.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, they will.
But I think it may be more like by 10 points and not the amount.
That's what I'm saying. Like I would have set the line at either 9.5 or 10.5. I might have said 9.5 to try to bait some people into 10. But 7.5 feels too low. Give me the Pack. Indianapolis at Tennessee. This one's in Nashville. The Colts favored by 4.5. Danny bleeping Dimes. Showing that you put the emphasis on franchise and franchise quarterback, not on quarterback and franchise quarterback. Calling the hot shot. Give me the Titans in an upset. I think they're close. I think they're a couple of good pops away. Cam Ward gets dub 1 over Danny Dimes this weekend.
Gotta go with Danny. Go with Danny.
I respect it. I'm not gonna hate on that. Absolutely not. They are favored.
Every time he wins, it makes me look good for saying he was going to do well. So I mean, yeah. But I think they're going to win.
No, Joey B. I'm going to go with big problems. What a quarterback matchup we got, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Cincinnati Bengals heading to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Carson Wentz and Jake Browning getting after it in this one. Minnesota favored at the crib by 2.5. Give me the win. Give me the cover. At the end of the day, if I got Jordan Jefferson down there, I could play quarterback and put up 21 points.
Well, you've got 2 experienced quarterbacks playing. I know you're like Browning. Burrow is injury prone, so Browning's had playing time already, so it's not like he's stepping in there for the first time. And Carson Wentz has done okay when he's played in a game. I saw him say he's excited to actually be playing in a meaningful game. He's played in games recently, but of course it didn't really matter. So, but yeah, Minnesota. We'll do this.
Yeah, and cover up. And I think this was another one that I feel is a pretty obvious pick. Pittsburgh at New England in Foxborough. The Steelers favored by 1.5 points. I like New England. I like the direction they're going. Pittsburgh wins this game and covers.
Yeah, especially after that loss last week.
These numbers feel like oddly off. Like we have really the only game so far that I'm like, I don't really know about that number is maybe Indy 4.5, but like all these numbers feel like they're
low.
Not right.
Yeah, they're low.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Maybe we've got a weird weekend incoming. Rams at the Eagles. Philly favored by 3.5. This will be a closer game than anybody thinks. I don't know what to do with the number. I will say Philly wins at the crib at the link. But I very much think this could be a field goal game. I don't have enough confidence to make a spread pick on this one.
I'm going to go Rams in the upset here because of official scrutiny.
You know what? I maybe don't hate that. Maybe they over officiate the tush push, like every tush push, because any false start on a tush push kills the tush push.
Whenever there's a point of emphasis, which there is.
Yeah, they hammer it that first week.
They absolutely do.
You're absolutely right. You know what? That might be a good call. Great one. That might be a good call. All right, let's go to Tampa Bay, where the Buccaneers are hosting the New York Football Jets. It looks like Justin Fields going to be out with a concussion in this one, but the line is at 6.5. You need the full touchdown win. And the way Baker Mayfield's playing, I'm good with that. Give me the Bucs to cover at the crib.
What are you doing, man? Why do you say his name that way?
Sorry. Baker! Mayfield is playing right now. Give me the Bucks at the crib, 6.5 to cover up.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Las Vegas is at Washington. We are still up in the air about Jaden Daniels. The Commanders favored by 3.5. Look, if you think Jaden Daniels plays, take the 3.5. They'll win it. If you don't think he plays, take the Raiders and the points at 3.5. I got to keep it a buck. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I feel like, and I've said this before, I feel like most teams I can name the backup. It's Marcus Mariota.
I was going to say it's Tyrod Taylor.
No, Tyrod's backing up Justin Fields. He'll be getting the start for the Jets this weekend. It's up to Jaden Daniels. If he plays Washington's covers, also if he plays, that number is going to grow. But if he plays Washington covers, if he doesn't, honestly, I think Vegas can win this thing outright.
Yeah, I have no faith in Vegas at all. I'm going with Washington.
Fair enough. Atlanta at Carolina. The Falcons are 5.5-point favorites over the Panthers. I got to go with what I see on tape. Give me the Falcons to cover.
I don't want to, but
I don't either.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Falcons also.
Until it clicks. When it clicks, we'll have a different discussion.
You say until as if it will, and I don't.
I still believe that it will. But until then, give me Atlanta. Houston at Jacksonville, the Jags -1.5. Give me the Jags to cover 1.5.
Yeah, I'm going Houston there.
Denver at the LA Chargers. The Chargers -2.5. The Denver Broncos, speaking of teams that haven't clicked, for a team that looked like they were going to click last year at the end of the year, the team has not clicked. We've already seen the Bo Nix, Sean Payton face-to-face on the sideline. The Broncos 1-1 with losses, with a loss to the Colts. Give me the Chargers at the crib to stay undefeated, Lonzo.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then they'll be have 3 wins?
3 wins and
in the West?
Have the leg up on 2 teams in that division.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, that would be 3 straight against their divisional opponents, wouldn't it?
So.
It would be. That's exactly right. New Orleans at Seattle, the Seahawks -7.5. Saints won't win. Give me the Saints to cover this. I think they can be inside of a touchdown against Seattle.
Yeah, I got to go Seattle. I'm sorry.
Ugh, gross. Dallas at Chicago. Cowboys favored by -1.5. Another hot take. Give me the Bears at the crib. They went outright.
That's funny. Come on, Cowboys.
I'm being very serious.
Well, I know. I could tell.
They're close. I think they're close. I mean, Arizona's at San Francisco. No Brock Purdy. He has limited in practice. We do not know if he's going to go. I'm assuming he is not. The 49ers at the crib -2.5.
There's no way Arizona goes undefeated past this week. No, I'm going San Francisco.
I'm fair with that. Kansas City at the G-Men. At Kansas City favored by 6.5. Give me the cover. For Kansas City.
Do you say in their win too?
Yeah, they win by a touchdown or better.
I guess you would have to do. Yeah, I'm going Kansas City.
I'm in on the Giants. I think this is a we have to be right win for
Travis
the Kansas City
Kelce scores 2 touchdowns.
Somebody said earlier, I look like Travis Kelce, but in his lame era.
Which era would that be?
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
All right, let us get to what the first thing that's Xing is Mike McDaniel.
So the Dolphins lose again last night. The Dolphins start 0-3. Mike McDaniel obviously way already on the hot seat. Mike McDaniel's Xing because Mike McDaniel, I'm not going to say he lost his job last night, but he took a huge step towards it. If the Dolphins don't win the next 2 or 3 in a row, I think he's done.
Yeah,
I think he's done.
It's not good, and the press conferences are getting worse and worse. So you could he looks like, hey, like he's already lost his job. That's what he looks like.
I think he is panicking, and because of the fact that he stepped into immediate success, right? Like again, like he took over year number 1. He had the number 2 offense in the NFL. Year number 2, he had the number 1 offense in the NFL. Went to the playoffs in both of those years. Lost, but went to it in both of those years. And now he's getting punched in the nads with adversity. And I just don't think he had an opportunity to learn how to handle it on a micro scale. Now it's getting hit in the face with a macro scale. I don't think it's happening.
All right. The next thing that's Xing is Venus.
As in Williams or as in the planet?
The planet.
Okay. It's in retrograde, which is what a bunch of white ladies are going to use as an excuse to be buttholes today.
All right. It was extremely visible in the night sky last night next to the moon.
Oh, cool.
And probably will be again tonight.
I will go. I will take off and go. I love some nighttime sky watching. What do you want to judge me?
You're going to be out tonight, so why not? And that was just purely for your benefit because science guy. The next thing is a WrestlePalooza.
WrestlePalooza, of course, taking place tomorrow. I have a conspiracy theory and a warning to issue, Lonzo. Two things are happening right now. Number one of the matches at WrestlePalooza is being sponsored by a pseudoscience bullcrap EMF blocking thing. Guys, there's cameras and radios in the ring with you. No, you're not. Stop with the pseudoscience bullcrap. I don't care how much they're paying you. Thought number two.
Yeah, the majority of us, I'm going to say, don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Okay.
But I'll look it up later.
All right. Thought number two. I have a conspiracy theory that I hope doesn't happen, because I will tell you, Zoe, if it happens, it will be the last time we talk about WWE. I think they're lining up to try to sell this thing to the Saudi Arabians.
Yeah,
I think TKO is lining up to sell to the Saudis. I think they are looking at it. I think they are realizing they overpaid. I think they're going to try to sell to the Saudis. And if they do, I am telling you now, advance warning, I'm out.
Let's end on a better note for the week.
Yes, please.
The last thing that's Xing is London Fashion Week.
Screw you guys. I look cool. I'm just going to go walk around downtown Greenville and farm aura today. That's what we're doing. All right. Do I look like Dollar General Magnum PI? You're damn right I do. Am I nailing it anyway? You're damn right I am. Have a great football weekend, everybody. We'll see you back Monday to break it all down. Thanks for being here. If you don't like the show, it's your fault. We'll try again on Monday. That's Lonzo. I'm Rob. Don't jerk your job. I'll punch you in the face. See you back here next week on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Later. That was a really good pull of the unexpected Magnum PI, despite all the Magnum PIs this weekend. Well done.
You should have noticed I was kind and threw in a science thing for him earlier and pointed out that I was being nice.
I appreciate it. And then another Magnum PIs.
That is trending, by the way. I saw that. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can do something with that.
All right, dudes. Got a jet. Thank you all for being here. You're amazing people. I appreciate you. Tell your friends about it. Share the show. I'm tired of being poor. Have a good one. See you Monday. Bye.